Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of our Mass Effect Genesys game. My name is Thomas, I'll be the GM today, and these are my amazing players. Say hello, amazing players.
Hi.
Hello, amazing players.
And where we last left off, our Mass Effect squad have found themselves in the depths of a Prothean ruin. And while they were here, they were attacked by some unusual entity composed of light that seemed to be able to jump into memories, pull them out, and create these biotic echoes of some of the people's most horrific traumas. So last time, our heroes battled some ghostly Geth entities, and then continued searching this ruin until they came across a Turian who was looking to maybe have a talk or have a nice even discussion with these people who've just showed up, and then a bomb went off after Miles attempted to disarm it, which happens sometimes. Bombs are very dangerous. Don't do this at home, kids. With that, the Turian started to leave, not before Kalor noticed that she had something of incredible power and technological advancement in her backpack. And with that, he attempted to seize it from her. She did not take it well, blasted Kalor, and all the rest of you converged to enter this battle with this Turian, and she unleashed this sort of ghostly entity against the rest of you. And Miles, you got struck with it. It crawled itself into your mind and created these sort of biotic facilities, these echoes of a traumatic time in your past where you were fighting in the the First Contact War. Against as the Alliance versus Turians, moments before you were going to get a terrible disconfiguring scar. Before we see the culmination of that, however, Urda, the Krogan infiltrator, appeared just at the right time to try and stop this Turian before she could escape, but unfortunately was unable to, and quickly followed after this. So that's actually where we're going to quickly jump in at this moment. With you, Urda, we have, full disclosure, we already did this roll last week and it's already been resolved, but we're going to explore what exactly happened while you were looking for this person. So, Urda, there was a lot of chaos, smoke grenades going off left and right. All you know is that this Turian is important for some reason, and that you are needed to stop her one way or another. She has unfortunately engaged a stealth cloak very similar to the one that you have, and is quickly getting further and further away. So you take flight and try to track her down. What kind of process does Urda have for finding somebody who is using the same cloaking technology that she is?
Well, firstly, natural instinct is, well, I can't see it, but my Omni tool might be able to. So pulling up some kind of interface off of that to try and get a scan going of biological signatures, heat signatures, something.
Love it.
Now, the cloak we wear is usually pretty resilient against heat sigs and such, so it's not as effective as you might hope.
But there's some minor flaws you could exploit, potentially slightly warmer atmosphere around, or footprints on the ground, just a little bit of something to give you that trail. You also know that the biggest downside to a tactical cloak like yours is that they can only really work in short bursts. While they are very effective, they do not last particularly long before they need to be re-engaged again. So hopefully with all this knowledge, you can use it to your advantage. And as you are, your steps are thundering through the sort of abandoned, decaying halls of Prothean technology, you suddenly hear a voice, a female voice. It sounds like it has sort of the effect of a Turian voice as well. And you hear her sort of in the darkness that you found yourselves plunged in. And she says, "I don't believe this. I just don't believe this. Are you Cassis's replacement? Is he seriously doing what I think he's doing?"
I'm sorry, who are you?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Okay. I don't know what you think you're playing at, but he's trying to use you, so it's probably best if you part ways with him as soon as possible. Trust me on that.
Why? Talking from experience? Trying to get my sights back up, trying to figure out how this is going on.
You hear from the darkness, she says, Yeah, yeah, you could say that. I don't know if he ever mentioned me. I'm Cindrus. I'm his sister. He and I were somewhat partners in crime before we had a disagreement. Good to see he's recovered from that very quickly, though. Not like he just saw the first Krogan and decided to make them his protege or anything like that. Wow. You have a name?
I might.
Nice. I
But
respect
you're
that.
particularly rude.
Yeah, well, your little friends are the one who tried to steal from me, so forgive me if I'm just protecting my interests.
Well, I didn't know anything about that.
Mind telling me why Cass has sent you here?
I think I might.
Yeah?
I think I might mind, yeah.
I see. Great. Well, this is quickly going nowhere. And during this time, Erda, you are sort of maneuvering around the darkness, trying your best to sort of like focus your senses on where this voice is coming from, so you can track her down and potentially sneak up on her as well. And you feel like you're getting closer. Every single second that she's like talking, you feel like you are approaching her location better and better and better, very close to sort of finding her if you can just keep her talking a little bit longer.
So this disagreement, was it also over something you should have shared? Him and you, not necessarily you.
So, you know that Cassis's Spectre status lets him get away with all sorts of things, takes us to all sorts of places over the galaxy. He took issue with the fact that I found some interesting information out on a mission and decided to pass it on to those who'd be interested. And yes, maybe it severely hampered the security of the Turian hierarchy, but what do I care? And also, he's got Spectre status. It shouldn't really matter, but apparently it mattered a lot to him.
Yeah. He got any particular reason to be so attached to the hierarchy?
He doesn't care about the hierarchy. He just cares that there is something I sent out there that could potentially be traced back to him, which is ridiculous because, like I said, Spectre status, we can stop people from looking into things very quickly. Or at least he can.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Anyway, Krogan, who refuses to share her name with me, what are you doing here? What do you want?
If I'm completely honest, at this point, I just want to see this one particular Solarian fucked up.
Well, you're in the wrong place for that, so I suggest you just let me be on my way and convince your little friends of yours to lift whatever this lockdown is now.
I don't know that we have control over the lockdown. I'm sorry.
Well, guess we're at an impasse then. Hopefully this will be the last time we meet, Krogan. Next time, things could go bad.
We could. Or we could potentially part on somewhat less hostile terms.
Yeah? Why don't you ask Cassis about that and see what he thinks?
And like very clearly like considering that and not very committal to one way or another on that. Just
And as you're contemplating that, you get closer and closer to the source of her voice, and believe that you finally snuck up on her, and you quickly turn a corner, and see that sort of in the pitch dark all around you, there is a small speaker device that has been attached to the side of some technology, and you can see that she has been sort of distracting you this entire time.
she's just gonna laugh because like, all right, okay.
And unfortunately, that is going to be the result of your failure and disadvantage from the previous session that we rolled for you while you were not here. Hopefully, now that you're back, you can start doing Erda justice and not just rolling terribly like I.
You say that, but our track record is pretty low.
Sure. So Erda, while you're off looking around in the darkness, trying to track this Turian down. Miles, you and the rest of the squad are currently enveloped in smoke that is now finally sort of dissipating a little bit. Sort of in a pitched battle between these biotic echoes that have been created by the weapon that entered your mind. And you know from experience that these things can be very lethal, very dangerous. What I want to ask you is that as you sort of are seeing the events that sort of led up to your serious injury playing out before you, how does Miles feel? What is it like sort of being put back into that moment of the first contact war, of the chaos and the fog of war, and sort of these hostile Turians shooting you down with your Alliance allies by your side?
I think it feels very surreal because he left all that Brotherhood stuff behind. First, he's trying not to get shot, so he's behind some cover somewhere. He's very confused. He's trying to get his bearings, and he's going to try and find whichever Turian it was that got him the first time, and this time kill him.
Sounds good.
Just for closure.
Love it. Go ahead and roll perception to see if you can identify the Turian that got you.
Let's see if it mattered that I leveled this skill up.
Sorry, one sec. Let me set the difficulty first. And reset the story points as well. Because it's now going to be...
Such a good roll. Every time.
All right. Go ahead and do it now.
Okay.
Oops.
Close enough.
All right, so success and threat, love it. Yeah, you identify the Turian. What's more is you can see them raising their rifle directly to your face, and they are about to fire. You have a split second to react. What are you doing, Miles?
Ah, fuck. I'll hit the deck.
Okay, you quickly hit the deck. An attack is going to be rolled against you. As this biotic echo, although to everybody else around you, this seems like some sort of ghostly, not entirely there Turian. To your mind, based on the thing that this thing ripped out of your memories, it is as solid and as real as you remember it. So let's see how it does. And that is going to be a failure with advantage. Interesting. So you quickly duck down. And as you do so, you feel the sort of shots flying above your head, smashing into some ancient tech behind you, while this thing sort of lays down a lot of suppressing fire at this point. And you worry that if this thing gets too close to you, it might repeat history and shoot you right in the face again.
That is bad. That is very bad. I'm not sure. I think I'm just gonna sit there and regenerate shields. That's all I'm gonna do.
It also looks
try to figure stuff out.
It also looks like we have a Talora meeting us. So give us 1 second, everybody, as Erda is lost in the darkness, as Miles is down trying to regenerate his shields. We'll quickly step away and get the rest of the squad back in. We will be right back, everybody. Don't go anywhere. And we're back, everybody. Thank you for your patience. Now with Talora back on the field, everyone. Miles, you're currently pinned down by these Turian ghosts, or at least to everybody else they appear to be ghosts. To you they appear to be quite real. Talora, you can see that Kalor is on the floor, not doing great at this point, effectively passed out, and there's fire being exchanged back and forth between you two. You can probably also notice, as the smoke is clearing, that Miles is... How would you describe your sort of countenance right now, Miles?
He looks very concerned. He's hiding behind a bit of cover, and there is one Turian in particular who is shooting him, like at his cover, giving him no moments of respite. You know, every time he tries to move or look up, he gets shot.
Yep. So that's what you see, Talora. That's the intense situation you find yourself in. What would you like to do?
All right. Where is my character? Did I go into cover?
Yeah, you're currently in cover behind some Prothean tech, which I'm sure you could nerd out about, but right now it is being shot to pieces by these two sides.
So how far am I away from like Kalora? Because Kalora's down, right?
Yeah, he's on the ground. Sort of, you can see he's alive. He's still moving, but does not appear to be doing great at the moment.
All right. So is there any enemies right by him?
There are some ghostly echoes of Alliance soldiers, but they do not appear to take any mind of you or Miles or Kalor. They only seem interested in the Turian echoes.
Okay. And how far are the Turians away from Talora?
They're equivalent of medium range, but you can see one is moving in with relentless gusto towards Miles.
Okay. So would I be able to run over to Kalora and slap some Medigel on him?
He is actually not down as a result of taking wounds. He's down as a result of his brain is a bit scrambled right now from...
Oh, touching shit. Yeah, sorry.
Among other things,
He's just tired. He's just had a long day.
So you can see he's kind of like...
No, it's absolutely not that everybody keeps touching shit now.
He's kind of like grasping at his helmet and just like writhing a little bit, but you don't see any visible major wounds on him.
All right. All right, so the one who's shooting at Miles, since they're not really real but kind of real, would throw work on them?
In terms of their reality or not, they don't have any health, as it were. They are composed of biotic energy, so unfortunately no. However, one thing you can do in this game that is not true of the video games is you can throw basically anything. So if you would like to like lift up the floor panel they're standing on, or like chuck a piece of technology at their face, please feel free to do that. But their actual biotic forms themselves are not are immune to your throw.
Okay, so he's running. Is there any well, I don't know, tables or anything?
Maybe calling them tables is a bit generous, but
yeah, I mean like slabs or something that I don't have to rip from the floor.
Definitely, there are loose bits of like large boxy tech around.
Okay, yes, let's throw some Prothean tech at the guy going from Miles, because Talora is probably going to be like, oh, is there anything else I can do? But okay, Miles is more important than the tech. Miles is more important than the tech. He can shoot. All right, let's throw it.
Love it. Quick question: are you going to throw something that's fairly light, somewhere that's like a bit heavy, or something that's very heavy?
Medium, but big enough to cover. So basically, that's why I said a table. It's like to push him back and put something between him and Miles.
Sounds good. All right, go ahead and roll. Give me a biotics roll.
All right, let's roll for throw. Okay, simple difficulty.
All right. Okay, so you this is very interesting. So it does no damage, but fortunately that wasn't really what you were going for. As you kind of like spin a biotic throw towards this piece of like large sort of this big cube of technology, you can see that it smashes and fizzles and it kind of disintegrates a little bit as you attempt to sort of chuck it across the room, and it lands between Miles and his target and just starts like sparking and exploding a little bit bits and pieces falling off, but it has seemed to have hindered the Tyrian, even if only slightly.
Right. Well, that's good. So that was my action. I think. Yeah, because she is still in cover. Yeah, I think that's everything she's going to do.
Sounds good. Erda, in the darkness, you can hear two distinct things right now. One of them is the sound of some sort of humming or something that is powered coming from somewhere deeper in the base. You can also hear the sound of combat and fighting back where you left your allies as well. What would you like to do? You're muted.
If I had a dime for every time I've done that. First, I'd like to peel that tricky little device off the wall.
Easily done.
For further investigation. And so the sound of combat, does it sound like it's going terribly, or does it just sound like they're shooting?
It's a bit difficult to ascertain. You do know that there is sort of a loud chorus of this sort of warbly sound effect coming from the echoes shots, not being quite as real and tangible as real life shooting, which you, at this point, don't hear much real life shooting at all. So that either means that your allies have escaped that area or they are all dead.
Well, either way, running back towards that sounds like a terrible idea.
Okay.
I'm sorry, everyone. So, Erda's gonna go for the strange humming instead, which is clearly the better option somehow. I don't.
Okay.
It's fine.
Sounds good. You're going to start running off in that direction through the darkness. Meanwhile, Miles, this terrain is getting a little bit closer. It was about to blast you, but suddenly this massive piece of Prothean tech that just starts disintegrating before your eyes quickly hindered it. You have one brief moment here before it basically rounds the cover and plants a shot at your face. What would you like to do?
Yeah, I'll shoot a grateful glance at Laura, and then I'll still on the ground, just go out of the cover and shoot him from below.
Oh, very cool. Love it. Go ahead and roll to attack. Going to be close range. Slight setback due to just the weird visibility thing right now, but otherwise should be fairly easy shot.
Okay. Shotgun time.
Kablam. All right. With that, you blast.
Oh, I get another shot.
Right? So
it's auto fire.
So the way auto fire works is before you shoot, you say if you're engaging auto fire or not, and that increases the difficulty.
I will always put auto fire on.
Okay,
always.
Good to know. So that generally increases the difficulty by 1, but if you hit, you can spend 2 advantage to get another hit. For the sake of cool story moment right now, we'll say that that's exactly what happened as you unleash an auto load of your shotgun into this Turian, and as soon as they try to raise up their rifle to your face, you retaliate. What does it look like?
Let's see. The first, I'm gonna shoot their leg out, and they would fall on the ground next to me, just looking at me dead on, and they'll go for me, and I'll shoot through their gun into their chest.
It is a weird sort of series of sound effects that you hear because it's not quite right. So there's a lot of strange warbling that happens, but through your eyes, you just see this Turian get utterly obliterated by your shotgun blasts, and you have saved yourself from getting shot in the face again. No repeats of the traumatic injury that you received last time. Excellent work.
Phew.
At that point, in front of your eyes, you can see that the entity composed of light, the weapon that committed this act against you in the first place, pulls itself out of your mind. You don't know what it retrieved while it was in there, but you feel splitting headache, and it quickly starts blinking away into the darkness. Yeah.
How was that? I'll go back into cover and
At this point,
Gotta calm down.
the Alliance soldiers and the Turian soldiers have effectively taken each other out. There's a couple of echoes still remaining, but for the most part, the situation is under control. And after a few more moments, there is now just dead silence where you, Talora, and Kalor are right now.
All right.
That was weird. I'll get
Yes,
up.
that was totally weird. She's gonna check on Kalor.
I will do the same.
Yeah, you go over to Kalor. He is sort of through the very small amount of Quarian eyes you can see through their visors. You can see that his eyes are moving extremely erratically all over the place. It's almost like he's in a dream state, as though his brain is desperately trying to comprehend something that shouldn't be there necessarily. And he is a little bit unresponsive to the things you're saying and doing. He sort of like every now and then like reaches a hand out towards you, kind of like grab one of you on the arm and starts sort of blabbering just nonsense to the two of you, and does not seem to be in a great state of mind at the moment.
All right. Maybe
What
we
about
should
Sani?
sedate that one too.
Where's Sani in all this?
Sunny is hiding around a corner of technology, sort of clutching at the sniper wound that she received earlier, and sort of like poking her head out just to make sure everybody is still okay and alive. And she kind of like looks over and just sighs a little bit.
Yeah, I know. You okay?
I'll survive. Is he okay?
I guess so.
That's what you get for touching shit. Again.
He probably just needs a nap.
Well, if he starts flailing or starts being weird, we got to make sure to sedate him too.
I'll carry him again.
All right. Well, let's go and find Erda and the dude
I mean,
before he
she's
sends
fine.
more of them. Well,
Oh,
she's
the
following.
Tyrian?
Yeah, she's following him, and he could set this
Her.
whole place against us again.
I think we're better off looking for her brother.
Well, she said he's back there,
Mm-hmm.
and she points in the direction.
You can either
Well,
go basically south to try and meet up with Erda, or try and catch up with this Turian lady, or you can go north to try and find the Quarian brother you're looking for.
well, can we call up Erda on the?
Yes, absolutely. Erda, as you are making your way through the darkness, kind of illuminating the place with your Omni tool, it suddenly goes bloop, 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 and you get a little call.
Gonna duck into what is hopefully a quiet, covered position,
Okay.
and take the call.
Erda, are you still in pursuit?
Yep.
All right. We had another Force Ghost encounter. Kalora's down from touching shit. Do you need assistance?
Well, the place is locked down. She can't go too far, probably. I'll probably be all right.
All right. She gave away where Suri's. Did I remember that right? Suni
Suni's
brother is. Suni's brother is. He's not far away. We're gonna go check on him. Please call if you need assistance, and please do
Will
not
do.
touch anything that you are not sure is not gonna, make you unconscious, like the boys who keep touching shit.
Heard it in the background. It's a good thing that you can't entirely see her face because it's just like,
Just, like,
Right.
holding the little speaker thing in your hands, like, yep.
Totally, I'm not touching anything to Laura.
no. Nothing's been touched yet.
It's like just let me check it before we touch it. To Laura out.
And it's
Oh,
great
oh,
because
sorry,
like
like,
Erda was about to
good
be
luck,
like,
kid.
you all call if you need help too, and then it's like Talora out. Click.
All right, sounds good. So, Erda, right now, are you still tracking the Turian? Are you doing anything else? Or is that the focus for your actions right now?
While I said I'm still tracking the Turian, honestly, I'm just kind of meandering that direction at this stage.
Okay,
Trying to investigate that humming you described.
sounds good. Yeah, so you can kind of cross the bridge that leads back sort of to the hub of this research base. And as you listen out, you can still hear the occasional sort of wail and sound of sorrow coming from ghosts that, exist throughout this base here and there. Fortunately, you don't run into any hostile ones at this time. But yeah, the humming sound gets louder and louder, and you can hear it's coming from one of the very specific hubs in this place. So if you wanted to, you could try and cross that bridge over to investigate it further.
I'm gonna make sure that, to the best of my ability anyway, that this bridge is not like booby trapped, and then I'm gonna go investigate.
Please roll perception then.
Exciting.
And I'll give you a little bit of a setback because it's a bit dark and dreary right now, with all the power being shut down.
Come on. That's rude.
So not only do you not notice anything, but you don't notice something important as well with that failure disadvantage. As you move along, you're fairly certain, yep, there's nothing here. And then the second you step out, you hear something click underneath your feet, and you realize you've stepped on some kind of device, most likely of the explosive variety. Fortunately, it does not seem to be immediately exploding, as long as your foot is on it.
So I'm going to leave my foot on it and attempt to figure out what it is while maintaining foot pressure.
Sounds good. Go ahead and just...
In the back of your head, you hear, do not touch anything.
I didn't touch anything on purpose.
It's like you're touching it with your feet.
Go ahead and roll demolitions, and just to remind you, you have 3 story points if you would like to spend any to change the situation or to give yourself a bonus or anything.
I would like to spend a story point.
Okay.
The part about the situation I'd like to change, I don't know if it's accurate at this point, is that while I have stepped on a trigger to a device, the actual point of explosion won't be directly underfoot, and instead would take out the bridge.
Okay.
Thereby thwarting me.
You can definitely use a story point to do that if you would like. So go ahead and spend that. In that case, I'm going to spend a story point to just make this a little bit harder for you. So, sorry.
Thwarting. Okay. Thanks to my knack for it. Shoot. What does knack for it give me
I
again?
believe it makes career skills out of non-career skills.
No,
that's
Oh, sorry.
well-rounded.
Knack for it removes up to 2 setback dice. So there is currently 1, so I can remove 1. Boop. Nice work.
Awesome.
So you are trained in
Awesome,
explosives
awesome.
thanks to the teachings of Cassis and the various other people you've met in your life. Okay. Success and threat. Love it. So just to clarify, you want the story point to establish that if this thing does go off, it does not damage you in any way, it only affects the bridge.
Yep.
Got it. So fortunately, during your examinations, you do not set this thing off. You are able to sort of like get a close enough examination at it to be like, okay, I understand what this is. This is, a fairly simple, but very effective landmine explosive. And yeah, you can see that it is set up to 3 distinct points of explosives. So if you disarmed 1, there'd still be 2 left. So basically, there's a lot of work to do here, but 1 could potentially disarm it, or you could just like take your foot off it and just let the bridge blow up.
I'm gonna try and disarm it.
Okay.
However, I have very low hopes for this.
All right, go ahead and I'm gonna say that like because there's so many, it's gonna give 3 setback dice, but thanks to your knack to it, it's gonna just get down to 1 setback die. And again, if you'd like to spend a story point, feel free to do so.
Are y'all okay if I spend 1 to make it slightly easier on myself?
Do what you want. It's all good.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and spend
So we're good. Kalora's not hogging them all today. Just joking, just joking. You can hog them today.
And go
Your
ahead
turn.
and roll demolitions again to see if you can get this. Oh no. So bad news, Erda, is you fail to disarm this explosive. The good news is you don't set it off. Like nothing bad happens. You just are not successful.
Okay.
and you firmly believe that you've basically there is a chance you could just like attempt this again, but it might get even more difficult the further you go. Meanwhile, while Erda is currently trapped with this very awkward situation, Miles, Talora, and Kalor, you are going with your Quarian friend, or rather I should say other Quarian friend, Sunny, as they limp towards sort of the bowels of this particular research node that you found yourself in. And at this time, Kalor is like sort of gibbering and babbling quite a lot, and you can see that the sort of greenish hologram that is very distorted, that represents the VI of the thing that runs this space, appears once again, and it basically...
Where in relation to us? I'm last,
directly...
because I'm carrying him, and that makes me slow. So if it's facing him, it'd be behind us.
Then in that case, you suddenly hear like a bzzz and a voice behind you, Miles, as this VI reappears, and it says... Detecting heavy distress from the administrator.
Oh, it's you.
All right. Is there something that you can do to fix that, or do I need to sedate him? Just gonna address the VI.
Administrator's mental state pulled into question. Transferring authority.
Nope.
And
cancel.
And suddenly, Talora, this thing turns to you, and it says, "All functions and processes now passed on to you."
Hey, that's good. I'll
He's
look
just
at
gonna
the
be like-
unconscious. Looks like you've been demoted.
You just hear him go,
Oh. Okay.
Would you like a diagnostic report of the various troubles and dangers taking place at the research base?
Yes, please. By highest priority first.
There
please.
is suddenly just this utter word vomit from this VI, just listing problem after problem after problem after problem, which is very reasonable given that this place has been abandoned for 50,000 years. But it is basically like listing down, no power, critical corruption to all systems, unknown entities strolling around, records, completely missing or corrupted or broken, no power to necessary systems, all sorts of things like that. And this thing just keeps going and going and going and going and going.
And she's like, highlight unknown entity.
And it pulls up a little virtual map for you again, and once again you can see there are various dots throughout the research base, some of them sort of denoted as living entities of some description, so you and potentially some miners, potentially Erda and the Turian, like scattered throughout this place, and you also see some rather unusual dots that represent various echoes that are here as well.
Okay. VI, can you shut down the echoes?
Designation is Veil.
Very well, shut down Veils.
My designation is Veil.
Oh, Veil, please shut down these echoes. They are impeding the progress of the administrator.
Unable to shut down echoes. They are linked to the Anamnethys project.
That's that bit.
Fine. Did we already download all the specifics about that project?
You did, yes.
All right. Very well. Please monitor Veils and let us know if they come too close or become a threat to the administrator.
Multiple threats to administrator detected.
How far?
It sort of like highlights the closest unusual sort of ghostly entities again. And then sort of goes on to say, critical power failure.
Okay. The Veils that we can see, are they between us and Project A?
So just to clarify, the VI itself is called Veil, that's its name.
Veil and the others are the echoes. Okay.
Do not seem to be like moving or doing much right now. They're sort of like stationary at the various scattered points that are around. As far as you can tell, in the place you're going to, there are a couple, as well as some living signatures as well.
Okay. Is there a way to get to Project A without hitting any of the echoes before we get there?
Doesn't look like it, no. Looks like they're sort of tied up in a similar location.
Okay. Is that like a choke point, or is it a certain room?
Basically, the research project place you're going to is constructed of a series of nodes, and one just leads to the other. It looks like in the sort of the third and last one, that is where there is a congregation of these things.
Okay. So,
Hey, ask it if that Turian put any more bombs in the place.
all right, Vale, please look for uncompatible tech and explosive signatures.
Unknown technology highlighting now, and it highlights, the lot of you and, other entities here that you would expect. And it also says chemical explosives located here and here. And it shows off a couple of locations where there are some explosives, not on your path. It appears to be one where Erda is, and another one set somewhere as well.
Wow,
All right,
look at that one. It's huge. I'd hate to be there.
Yeah, I hate to be there too. Let's send the location of this to Erda.
3 dots overlapping.
And it's like it pops up to Erda, and Erda's probably gonna be like, no shit, Sherlock. I'm standing right on top of that shitting thing.
Just random life signature, 3 bombs, almost.
Yeah.
Coinciding. It's like, yep. It sucks to be that guy.
Vale, please notify us if unknown living entities switch nodes. Basically movement.
Affirmative.
Very well. Please stand by for further orders.
And with that, the VI disappears.
Nice work, Delora.
Just, putting on my teacher voice. Okay, so once we're heading into Project A, because she probably can say that word, I cannot. The very last room has more of these echoes, like Vale called them, in it. So we should be good for the first couple of rooms, but the very last room, probably where everything is that we need, there are echoes. So we got to prepare.
The off switch
for a
could be in
fight.
the first couple of rooms. You never know.
Yeah, keep that optimism.
Yeah, and not all those ghosts were violent. Some were just sad people.
Just be prepared for the worst. This is Murphy's Law,
What was that?
anyways.
All right, you two head out. While this is happening, and you two head further and further into the Project Anamnesis node, Erda, you are standing here in a bit of a predicament, thinking about what to do, when suddenly there is a sort of flash of light, and you see that the entity composed of this light that sort of has been entering people's minds and forcefully extracting these sort of biotic echoes appears near you and is sort of blinking in your direction. What do you do?
So I'm going to whip out my pistol and try and use it. No, I lied. I'm going to use my new power. Sabotage.
Oh, snap. Love it. So yes, please tell me, how does sabotage work?
I hack into the software of synthetics and weaponry. As an action, I can attempt to sabotage an enemy I see within medium range. If successful, synth targets are controlled by me for the duration, while non-synths have their firearms overheat, requiring a reload before they can be used again.
Awesome. So good news, this thing is technically synthetic and biotic hybrid, so this will absolutely work.
Bad news, it only lasts a turn, if I succeed.
Right. So that sounds great. Does it say what you need to roll against? Is it a stat of theirs, or just a flat difficulty?
I did not write that down, I'm sorry.
No worries. Let's very quickly
Give me a sec to pull that back up.
Ta-da. So we look for, what is it? Sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
This is for computers, or for the synthetics, it's versus their discipline, which is, gonna be interesting. I'm gonna say that since this is ancient technology, there's gonna be some natural difficulty with sort of synergizing with it, so I'm gonna give you a setback on this, maybe 2 setbacks. Otherwise, go ahead and roll your sabotage and see if you're successful. This is computers against its discipline.
Here we go.
Best of luck.
Here we go.
Ooh, okay. So you try and sort of reach out.
Went about as good as expected.
You try and reach out with your sabotage program to sort of like overwrite this thing. It's partly technological, whatever the hell it is, and maybe there is some ground you can use to have some impact on it. As you try and do this, you actually realize it is blinking in your direction, but actually it's going to sort of move past you and away from you. However, as soon as you do this, it kind of like stops and like its head moves around a little bit in a bit of a frightening way, and then it snaps in your direction, and it now is targeting you, Erda. What are you doing?
Yep, that failed. Time to shoot.
Okay, go ahead and it's closing in to medium range right now, so go ahead and fire when you are ready. With your pistol that I believe you salvaged from the crashed frigate, where Miles was able to get some things. All right, that's going to be a hit, so it's going to do 5 damage. And I'll say that the threat in this situation is that it doesn't take one shot. It's you sort of shoot it and hit it, and it goes dink, and sort of like hits this holographic form, and you shoot it again and keep on shooting it, dink, 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 and it doesn't seem to be giving up. And eventually you hear the clicking sound coming from your weapon as it overheats, and this thing gets face to face with you. What do you do, Ed?
Gonna drop the pistol, and out comes the shock baton.
Okay, go ahead and roll another attack with a shock baton as you try to.
Come on, my guy.
No. You swing with the shock baton. Unfortunately, it is too late. This thing is kind of like blinked through your arm's reach and has just grabbed your Krogan face with its light up hand, and you hear it say "commencing interface," and then suddenly. Whoa, knocked off my own headphones there. It goes into your psyche and brain, and you suddenly feel this horrible alien presence probing through your mind, sifting through your memories, and trudging up all sorts of parts of your history.
Gross.
Meanwhile, Miles and Talora, you head through the nodes of the research area you're going through. As you're going through this place, are you looking for like devices or switches or something that could potentially turn off whatever is powering this thing?
Yeah.
I'm looking for the power lines.
Okay,
It's
nice.
like absolutely trying and, shutting shit down and not touching stuff that we're not supposed to be touching.
Sounds good. Miles, why don't you give me a mechanics roll?
Talk for yourself, Talora. You might not want to touch it.
Miles, roll mechanics to see if you manage to find anything. And again, I'll give you a double setback due to just incompatible technology. And after we do that, Talora, we can roll either mechanics or archaeology to see if you can find anything. Interesting. Okay, so Miles, you don't necessarily find what you're looking for here. Maybe you find a couple of things and like, oh, if I just smash this, will that fix it? And no, it doesn't. But you find a sort of a glowing something, like this little cube that has like these little glowing lights in it, in spite of the fact that all the power has been turned off, and it's very small as well. And you don't know what it's for, you don't know what it does, but it might be worth pocketing, might be worth something.
Okay, nice.
Talora, go ahead and roll either archaeology or mechanics, your choice.
See what I'm
All this tech stuff makes no sense to me.
Okay. Talora, kind of similar to you as well. You don't find any sort of trace of anything that can be used to shut anything down here. You try not to touch anything. But you do know that Veil, the VI you have access to, could potentially sort of remotely do these things as well.
All right. Before I call Vale, can I see what Miles is holding?
His little cube. With the little advantage you got there, yeah, we can say yes.
All right. Can I go over there and tell him to freeze and check out what it is?
Yeah.
Now, don't move for a second.
Yeah, you go over to it. Give me an archaeology roll. Okay, so failure yet a triumph. So that's very interesting. So Talora, you believe that this device is effectively a... What do I even call this? It is effectively like a hyper-adaptable material. It could potentially be used to power something, to take the shape of something, to do basically whatever you need it to do. It is the duct tape of Prothean technology. A little bit rare, quite expensive, quite useful, but yeah, it could help fix your stuff. It could help become something you need it to become. A lot of applications for this thing.
Right. She's like, all right. Never mind. You found the duct tape of Prothean technology. This can fix shit, turn into shit, power shit. All right, you can pocket it. It won't do anybody any harm.
Good. Thanks, I guess. I mean, it didn't look scary. It's just a little cube.
Yes, but now you know it's a very, very malleable and rare material.
What about you, Suni? You see anything? Sani? Was it Sani or Suni?
It's Sunny. Is it? Yeah, it's
Sunny.
Sunny. Yeah, she's sort of looking around, and she's sort of at the threshold near the back of this place, and she says, "Over there, I see him. I see him." And she starts run limping away from you both towards her brother.
Stop! Don't run to him. You'll trigger all sorts of stuff.
And you can see that she's running into like a very large room where, again, a lot of sort of alien tech surrounding the walls and ceilings. She's obviously not touching any of it, but you can see that at the very end, there are a series of containment tubes, and it looks like there are people inside these, all sort of hunched over back against the wall.
So she ran into the room with the echoes.
Yes, there are also a few echoes here and there. A lot of them are kind of indecipherable, sort of just standing there, just like zapping and moving around like very scary ghosts in a horror movie, but they don't seem to be hostile. They don't seem to be doing anything. They're just sort of like letting out these unsettling noises.
Don't touch the echoes.
This series of tubes,
Yes.
does it look like the internet?
You know what? No, it doesn't, unfortunately. It looks like very simple sort of containment fields that have been erected around what you can now see as a number of miners wearing sort of the IMC logo on their forms, who are just like slumped inside. And one of them is indeed a Quarian. And you can see that Sunny immediately goes up to one of them, like avoiding one of those spooky ghosts and just like slamming on the gas.
Careful! I'll shout stop, and I'll hopefully get her to not move
Yeah.
before she starts pushing all the buttons.
So can Talora see if they're still alive? Are they moving? Are they breathing?
From where you are right now, like if you want to get closer, you can do that too. But from where you are
Right,
right now,
yes.
it's hard to tell. Too dark.
Right.
I'm gonna
Carefully
make a
moving
coercion roll
closer.
to get her to stop.
Okay,
Yes?
sounds good.
Okay.
It's gonna be very hard because she's seeing her brother for the first time. But go ahead
I
and
know.
roll, Miles.
You never know.
You never know. Hey! So threat, but you do manage to trigger a triumph. So feel free to take narrative control of the situation for a second there, Miles.
Okay, I think. Well, she stops because I win. She turns around to look back at me, but I think also all the ghosts will take note.
It's not that they're moving towards you aggressively, but they do suddenly all snap in your direction. All eyes on you, Miles, and there's just this big tension in the air during that moment. Talora, as you saw Miles do this, what would you like to do?
So I am close enough now to see if they're alive.
Yeah, if you'd like to get close, like they're behind these fields, so you can't do any sort of like pulse checks on any of them or anything. But from a pure visual standpoint, you can give me a medicine check or perception check to see how they're doing.
Before I do that, can I call Vale?
Yeah, absolutely. Bzz.
Vale, please attend. Vale, how do we shut down these tubes?
Vale says, currently there is no power, but they can be shut down once power is restored to the research node.
All right. Where is the power node?
Power node is located in the western node. However, I can do a manual restart if you desire.
Yes, please.
Clarify. Would you like power restored to just this research project or to all parts of the research base?
Just this project, please.
All right. And with that, suddenly you hear the sound of power coming back on in your particular research node. Some lights here and there. Mostly none of the tech is far too old to be functional anymore. So there's like sparks that goes off here and there. A few things humming. But otherwise, it's hard to really tell if anything's really working. And then Vale says, interface for the containment tubes can be found at that console. and sort of points that one out, and you see sort of a jittering holographic display appear before you.
All right. So, she's gonna try and interact with it.
It's basically like a complete mess because it's like having a monitor whose screen is completely broken, so you can't really see what you're doing. But it seems fortunate this thing doesn't have a whole lot of functions. You sort of like try a couple of things here and there. You're technically not touching anything because it's a hologram, and soon enough you can see that the containment sort of the glass-looking substance around seems to like disappear into like little hexagons and then just disappear from sight, leaving those inside exposed. And the ghosts are just standing there, and a couple of them start to walk ever so slowly towards Miles.
Okay. What do you think? Should we shoot him?
No.
Suit
Should we?
yourself.
Should we? She's completely distracted. She's like, what? just like hologram. Shoot who?
I'll start backing up a bit, try to lure them out of the room.
Yeah, they start following you, so if you want to take them outside, they can definitely go that way.
I will also put down Kaylor. I'll quickly put him inside the room, and then try to get them to come to follow me out of the room.
Sounds good. All right, yeah, the ghosts start to slowly move their way with you outside this place. And Miles, you've seen and done a lot of things in this galaxy. Even so, this is a bit of a first of just these weird, creepy things just following you out of this place. They don't seem to be making any sort of hostile action at this point, but you can hear just like the sound of their moans and cries that just kind of fills the room with a bit of dread. While that's happening, Erda, your mind is on fire as this thing is plunging through your memories. I would like you to explain what is the most important, traumatic, impactful memory from Erda's entire life, because it is slowly being assembled around you. You're muted.
So I think I've got one.
Okay.
So, and funny enough, it involves explosives. So, back on Tuchanka, before ever meeting Cassis, before even considering leaving her clan, she was like, okay, we're going on this training exercise. We're going out here, and we're trying to scavenge some stuff. We're trying to probably fight some people. Hard to say. I wasn't told everything we're doing. I'm a nobody. So they get there, and it's this old Krogan ruin, you know, the kind that's got like, it's clearly used to be like a palace or something fancy. It's got like murals on walls and the tattered remnants of tapestries in the, you know, deeper places that have been, you know, it's dry enough, they're preserved, as long as you don't touch it. Don't touch anything. But of course, everyone's like, you know, going through. It's just one of many routes to a place. But Erda's, you know, she's looking at all this stuff like, well, what is this? I mean, this is way cooler than like the places we've been living. Why don't we do this anymore? And it's one of these cases where it's like, something comes up. Something always comes up. So what they thought was a quiet trip through this place then became a not quiet trip, and a rival clan, you know, was trying to pass through about the same time. So Erda's clan went, hey, we know how to block their exit / route to us. Let's just blow it up. And while that's not, you know, that's not directly hostile people towards Erda, like something about that has still stuck with her. Just the willingness to, fuck it. We don't need this. To something that was honestly very beautiful.
Okay. Yeah, then in that case, you can see that constructed all around you. None of this appears ghostly to you. It appears as real as the day you remember. You see the sort of the splendidness of the sort of artistry of the ancient Krogan walls and works of art and statues and tapestries, and the sort of first instance of Krogan culture and art that you've probably ever seen that wasn't just war paint or just marking Varen and vehicles with clan symbols or something like that. This is true honest to goodness culture. And yeah, you find yourself there just seeing a lot of explosive devices suddenly set up, with you there ready to press the button. And it is as though you were back there at that time, moments away from destroying it all once again.
And at the time, like, yeah, the clan members were like, yeah, okay, when we on our mark, press that button. And incidentally, it's a bridge where they're trying to destroy.
Oh, perfect.
So there's that. And it's just like, why would I do this? Why would I do this twice? Why would I just kind of looking at this thing, and it's like, I know how to take this apart now. I could probably dummy rig the switch. I mean, so Erda's gonna try and do that instead. Just real subtle, try and like fix it to where it doesn't explode even if pressed.
I like it. Okay, yeah, you try to fiddle with the device that sort of appeared in your hand, and while you're doing that, you can see that there are sort of like vague shapes of your fellow clan members sort of scattered around you as well. And as soon as you don't sort of adhere to the correct sort of sequence of this memory, you see that they just sort of slowly turn their heads and turn around you until you just see various members of your clan just all staring at you, judging you with very silent, sort of hollow stares.
You would, you bastards. Continues working.
All right, amazing. Yeah, so you continue like trying to fiddle with this thing. Ultimately, it is not made out of any kind of like circuitry or anything. It is simply a biotic echo that you just perceive as being, this technological device. But the fact is, nothing you do results in the explosion and the loss of anything. And while you are lost in that moment, you can feel that your entire sort of memory and life experiences is now fully accessible to whatever it is that is in your head right now, and you do not know what it is doing with that information or how much of it it is taking, but you can just feel it there, and your head starts to hurt a lot. Please give me a resilience roll.
Excellent.
And I'm going to story point this to make it a little bit harder.
One moment, let me double check with.
I think as a Krogan you get
All right.
a +2 upgrade to all resilience, is that right?
Yeah, ability gets upgraded twice.
Cool. I've applied that. Go ahead and roll when you're ready.
Alrighty.
Okay. Oh no!
That's a despair.
That is a despair. Oh no. The Krogan clan members. These are people you sort of have grown up with as well, relatives, distant relatives, members of your clan, whether no matter how much you hate them or how much conflict you've gotten into them, the fact remains that, like, at the very least, they are people who you can stay alive with. And during this moment, those people are suddenly marching towards you, and you hear a voice of one of them that says, "Erda, what are you doing? Trigger the explosive."
I'm trying to fix it. It's busted. Just give me a sec.
"We're running out of time. They're coming this way. Do it now!" And stomps up closer to you, face to face with this. Who is this? Is this like your father? Is this a distant cousin? Who is this person?
I think it's an uncle.
Okay. Wonderful. Yeah, and you try to like desperately say like, you try to stall it like it's not working. Fine, then I'll do it. And you feel like their, great strength applied against you as they sort of like wrestle this thing out of your hand. And in that moment, you just feel the explosion. You see the statues go up into dust, everything fragmenting and falling down into rubble. Every little small bit of memory of this culture completely obliterated for the sake of a momentary step up against another clan. Everything lost in an instant. And also, as a result, you unwittingly step off the pressure plate. And the explosion
Awesome.
of your memory is compounded with an explosion that happens in real life as the bridge connecting you to the place, the source of the humming, explodes, and you feel fragments kind of like littering themselves against you, and you hear the sound of like the metal groaning and collapsing, and just a little bit of a shake throughout this ancient ruin. And with that, the echoes of your clan members are still there. The sort of echoes of like broken statues, like in fragments around you, are still there, but you are sort of pulled back into reality a little bit.
Fuck.
Yeah, she did say don't touch shit.
And Oda, you're going to take 6 points of strain as the entity composed of light appears before your eyes.
That puts me under.
That puts you under? In which case, Oda,
Yeah.
I'm afraid you collapse to the ground. As your mind fizzles from the sort of overwhelming intrusion from this entity. And as you collapse there, you see it appears before you, and it says to you, extraction complete, memory full, disengaging. And it starts blinking its way across the exploded bridge, seemingly not worrying about solid ground under its feet, and disappearing from sight. Meanwhile, Miles and Talora. Miles, you've successfully led these strange ghost things out. When they're close to you, it is very unsettling. It is very creepy, the way they sort of move, the sounds they make, but they don't seem to be making any kind of hostile action against you. And you have successfully drawn them out of the chamber where Talora and the Quarians are.
Hopefully that gives her the time to fix all the things.
Mhm.
Good luck.
All right. So
Story point.
it's like Vale, how do I shut down the echoes?
The echoes, as you refer to them, are tied up with the anamnesis core. Only the core can have an effect on the echoes it leaves behind.
All right. Where's the core? Which one's the core?
Highlighting unique signature for you now, and you see once again a holographic map comes up, and you see that its location pointed out to you is not anywhere near where you're at right now. It is far away in one of the other nodes. And at this moment, Miles and Talora, you hear an explosion that rocks the base.
Did say not to touch shit. All right.
It's nowhere near us, right?
Correct.
Yeah. She's gonna bring up Erda. Erda, are you receiving?
Oda right now does not seem to be receiving.
I'll also try. Kid, you still alive?
Erda, what did you touch? All right, and she's gonna send the location of the node to Miles, and say, Miles, this is where you gotta shut down the echoes because he's between us and the exit, right? Because
Sorry, who's?
I'm closer to the door, yes.
Oh,
because
yes.
I've led the...
because that they're following him, right?
Mhm.
And I'm gonna send him that, and then the people that were in the tubes, the brother, the outside thing, we turned it off, right?
Yeah.
So they're inside the tubes, but there's no force field anymore.
There's no tubes at all anymore. They got removed.
Dropped to the floor.
So you can have access to everybody there now.
Okay. So what is Suni doing?
She's now the ghosts are out of the room and Miles is out of the room. She is going up to her brother and just leaning down and just going, VS, are you okay? Can you hear me? It's me. It's Sunny. Hello? And you can see that he is stirring a little bit, but seems very, very, very out of it.
All right, Sunny, you got the survivors.
She says she's ignoring you right now. She's just kind of like looking into her brother's eyes and saying like, VS, please tell me. There was something that we tracked to you. The migrant fleet, all of the information. Please tell me this wasn't something you did. And you can see that he's sort of like, is very out of it, but he sort of like moves his head up towards her from his sort of like crouched down position, and he says, Sonny, I have let you down. I have let all of them down. I promise you, it was not something I did of my own volition, but the sin lies with me all the same. I have committed an atrocity against our people. And you can see Sani just like breaking up a little bit, just like, no, it's not possible. How could this happen? How could something like this happen? And he, they're just, sort of very quietly exchanging this while you look on.
Yeah. She's going to put on her teacher voice and she's going to say, Sonny, do you have the survivors?
She turns around quickly to look at you, and she says, Vias, are you okay? Do you need any help? And he says, I could use a drink and a lot of other things, but I'll survive. And he kind of like looks over to the others in the tubes, and he says, check on them. I don't know if they're still alive. And Sani complies, and she looks over the other mining people who are here, and one by one confirms that none of them appear to be alive anymore.
All right, so the others are dead. All right, watch your brother. Don't touch shit. We're going to try and turn off these echoes and probably check on Erda. Do not move. Do not touch shit. Do not let him touch shit. And she's going to walk away.
Yeah, Sani kind of like hands her brother like a little water flask and basically plugs that into the necessary port for him to get a little bit of a drink. And yeah, you head on back out. So Miles, you can see Talora there.
I'm going to shut off these echoes and we got to see if we can raise Erda. I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, let's go check on her.
Okay. Thanks to the to Vale and the insight he's been able to give you, you can quickly track down the nearest of life signatures, and fortunately, one of the nearest ones is in fact Erda. So you come to out of sort of the main hub of this research station and see that one of the spokes, one of the bridges leading to another place, Erda is right in front of it, lying prone on the ground. And Erda, you're kind of a little bit sort of like fetal position right now, sort of rocking back and forth, like trying to get your mind back to where it was previously, as you just feel the incredible after effects of this entity's intrusion on your psyche. What would you say is the overwhelming emotion that you felt at the sight of seeing the sort of Krogan?
Sorrow.
Okay. Right now, your sorrow is turned up to 10. Somewhat artificially by the intrusion of this entity. So you both probably appear near Erda, just seeing her like weeping or just extremely dejected. I'll leave that up to you, Erda, but yeah, that's the state you find her in.
Oh yeah, there's tears. There's tears. She sounds very pitiful.
Probably never seen a crying Krogan before, but you also see a half-exploded bridge.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's alive, then we'll go over.
Yep, check on her.
Okay.
Quick clarifying question. The Turian that we ran into before, was she wearing armor in the sense that we are wearing armor, where it's like completely unaffiliated with the mining company, or was she also wearing mining company stuff?
She had a mining company logo on her armor, yes.
Okay.
Also, Talora and Miles, you can also see that there are some very judgmental Krogan ghosts around, and some statues half exploding and tapestries in flames and such.
Yeah. Let's get her out of here. I'll try to help her to her feet. Come on, kid, get up.
No assistance from Erda, sadly.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Just like lifting up a Krogan, just that is uncooperative.
It's not easy.
Not easy at all.
I can't just sling you over my shoulder like I do with the quarry.
While this is happening, everybody go ahead and roll Discipline or Cool to recover a bit of strain as well, as you have this moment to sort of collect yourselves and to regroup as well. So Erda, that's 3 back for you, 4 back for Talora, and 3 back for Miles. And yeah, currently, as you sort of take a moment to sort of catch your breath after the myriad things you've gone through today, you're sitting in the darkness. You can hear a bit of power coming from the project node that you just left. You can also hear some but different coming from across the destroyed bridge. And otherwise, you just hear sort of the echoing sound of the spooky ghost creatures every now and then throughout the base. Otherwise, it is silent.
Come on, Talora, you're gonna let an old man carry a Krogan all by himself?
Do I look like I am good at carrying stuff?
Let's put your shoulder under her arm, for Christ's sake. Ugh.
I think at this point, Erda probably manages to mumble, "Put me down, leave me, put me down."
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, she's just like putting her and under her shoulder, and it's like, I told you not to touch shit. What did you touch?
I didn't touch it. It touched me.
That's what they all say. And we'll just go one step at a time away from this whole situation.
So yeah, before too long, Erda, you are pulled away from the ghosts, which to your mind don't appear to be ghosts at all, of your clan and of the destruction. And, you know, once it is separated, you feel the sort of intense artificial sorrowness is, you know, quickly burning away, but of course that doesn't account for the actual sorrow you might be feeling in this moment as well.
Okay.
All right, what happened?
That gold VI, that one.
Veil. What did Veil do?
What's Veil?
Veil is
Veil is the
green one, which is like the administrator. It is distinct from the gold apparition that's been attacking you.
Right, so she's like, so it was in Veil. And
This
she's
is
like,
a different one. That's
she's-
the Adam Nessus thing.
she's gonna call Veil. Veil, attend.
Suddenly, the glitching out sort of green light figure appears before you and says, "Yes."
Veil, you're green. Who is the golden apparition?
You speak of the Anamnesis project.
Thank you, Veil.
Nessus.
It was a weapon designed to extract information from our enemies.
All right. So we do know which node it is to shut it down.
Yeah, it's
So-
that one.
Erda, you
point
ready
in the
to
general
move?
direction.
You can actually see that the little on the holographic display of a veil, sort of showing where the what he described as the Anamnesis core, it's moving. It does not seem to be a singular fixed power generator.
I knew it. Yes.
Huh.
Oh, for Pete's sake, it's
Is this thing
moving.
moving?
That Turian.
Ah, nuts.
Erda's gonna get on her feet and try and kind of recollect a little bit better. Mostly fails, but is at least on her feet and not needing to be carried / dragged.
Good.
All right. Veil, attend.
Yes.
That moving Project A core. Is it on a living life form?
Yes. It appears to be taken
Living
by
life
an
form.
entity of unknown physiology. Current location
Right.
is power and mechanics node.
Is there a way that we can shut it down and lock it in somewhere so it can't get away from us?
The Anamnesis core is not attached to any of my functions. The power node, there is no exit.
All right. I mean, can we close any doors so they can't get out?
Attempting to close access to the power node. Doors failed. Critical power loss.
Can you go distract her?
It kind of like slowly looks in your direction, Miles, but doesn't respond since it does not recognize you as a. Well, actually, no.
Right, because I'm not the boss.
It does respond because you're somebody here who's next to the boss, and it says, "Clarify."
You know, go talk to her a bit. Ask her some questions. Who she is, what she's doing there.
Her name's Syndrus. She's a bitch.
Cool.
Attempting interface now. I'm currently speaking to the entity.
Good job. Keep it up.
All right,
And
let's
we'll-
double time it over there before, you
A
know.
warning. Entity appears to be attempting to use the pipelines for the lightning rods as a means of escape. Movement through the pipelines is highly inadvisable. as I stated to them, they do not seem responsive.
Shit.
What will happen to her when you pull the lightning rods back in?
Retraction of the lightning rods can potentially create a static discharge within the tubes, potentially killing anybody who attempts to move through it.
I'll look at Laura.
Well, I don't think so. Because don't we want to see what Project A is? Because that will get destroyed too.
It'll turn off, and it might be worth 5 million credits, but it's also killing us.
It looks like
Vale?
some kind of fancy interrogation device.
Vale, can you connect me to the Tyrian voice?
Attempting to right now. And you can see that like there's like a synthesis of some sort of like a new hologram nearby. Again, it is very corrupted, like very fuzzy. You don't actually see the Turian itself, but you do see a vague form that's like grunting and like moving around. And Vale says, contact established. And you just hear,
What was her name again? Cirrus?
Syndrus.
Syndrus. Syndrus, this is Telora de Seuss. Please refrain from entering the lightning rods. I have control of the station. If you enter the lightning rods, I will retract them and you will not survive.
Okay. Alright. So we're bit
Totally the truth.
What exactly do you want, Telora?
I would like for you to stop so that we can parlay
Are we doing that right now?
in person.
Last time we met in person, your Quarian friend tried to snatch something away from me, and I didn't take too kindly to that.
And I told him not to touch it, and he's paying for it right now.
I don't know if I believe that you have full access to this place. This is old stuff. This is Prothean stuff. There's no way you could get full access just like that.
Vale, please acknowledge who is in charge right now.
Vale says to you, currently, what's the word? Currently linked to associate of research leader Arzia Vriz.
Which is me. How do you think I'm talking to you right now?
Syndrus kind of takes a moment and she says, okay, you want to talk face to face, even though we're talking right now? That means all you want to do is take something that I have, and I can guess what that is. So why don't we cut the nonsense and just get down to some terms? How does that sound?
How about you're stuck here and I am in charge of this station. So how about you do not make demands right now? Because I don't care about the money.
Let's do a very quick social encounter, everybody. So Telora, sounds like you're doing coercion. Sounds like she's going for negotiation. So we're gonna
Hold up.
those.
Cat off my.
We're gonna roll those against each other. So let me just double check what.
Hold up. Let me check my skills because I do have the social skills. So let me check.
Yeah, well,
real quick.
what you said is definitely in the coercive line. So we'll roll for coercion first. And basically, the way social encounters work is whoever gets the strain down of the opponent quickest is considered to win the argument. So we'll see how that goes. And I'm gonna say that like effectively we're gonna do, first to 5 strain, since we're going to be here forever if we do 20 turns of initiative.
So what I'm going to do is what I just said. I'm going to count as a clever retort.
Ooh.
Which once per encounter I may use this talent to add an automatic, I don't know what HH is, to another character's social skill check.
It's going to be 2 threats to her checks, so that's great. So yeah, you're going with coercion, so that's going to be against her discipline, so roll that first and then we'll roll her response against you. Let me just double check that I'm representing this correctly. I was looking for Syndrus and she's listed at Mysterious Turian. There we go.
Alright. Oh!
If you rolled well, it's because I had not set the difficulty lit, so I'm sorry. So go ahead and roll now. Again, it didn't come up. Why did that happen? Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. My bad. My bad. Sorry about everybody.
And it's getting worse by the roll. You're just setting me up.
All right, now it should work. Apologies for that. Also, you have 3 story points if you don't like to spend them. Oh! So Talora, let's consult the social and combat or dice and social thing real quick. With a triumph, you can upgrade the difficulty of the target's next check. You can upgrade the ability of your next check, or you can do any of the other advantage triggering abilities if you would like, including discovering the desires or fears, strength or flaws of your target.
Yeah, let's figure out what we can do to get her to surrender without giving. What is the least amount that she will take to surrender?
So you would
see if we can figure that out.
You would like to figure out her fear effectively.
Yes, to see how we can get her to shut down.
Sounds good.
Without giving her too much.
Sounds good. All right. So you two sort of engage in a bit of a sort of a parley, a bit of a conversation. Exchange a lot of back and forth. Eventually you sort of learn that the things that sort of like seem to get her up or get the most response out of her is the feeling of, if I let this go, then I am worthless to the Shadow Broker. I've already proved that I'm worthless to my brother, and I refuse to be worthless ever again. So you learn that her fear is actually obscurity. So if you do or say anything that like leverages that in the future, you get +2 blue dice against her.
Okay.
And you definitely dealt some strain to her there. However, she's going to retort. She's basically going to try and negotiate her way out of this situation. So in that case, I need to roll her negotiation against your negotiation. So what is your negotiation?
Hold up.
So,
my negotiation is 1. That's 2 yellows and 1 green.
2 yellows, 1 green. Awesome. All right. So she tries to convince you to see things from her point of view. I'm just going to double check what she's got for this. This is okay. Here we go. Yeah, let's do this. Whoop, 1 sec. When I say let's do this, I actually mean let me do this.
Yeah, because that looks way too nice, right?
Yep. All right, so she got success but 1 threat. So let's see. 1 threat. And we know that means that you suffer 1 strain. Oh no, sorry, she suffers 1 strain. So, Talora, you take 3 damage to your strain. However... oh, wait, she can get blue, that's what that means. So, right now, you're basically at 2 out of 5 health/strain for this argument, and you just did 2 to her, so she's at 3 out of 5. So the argument is still ongoing, and if either Oda or Miles would like to jump in for this encounter these two are having as they're exchanging thoughts and ideas, feel free to do so.
I'm just gonna run to where she actually is.
The bridge is blown up.
Right,
but there's a path somehow, somewhere, and I'm gonna go there.
No, she already crossed the path.
Well, okay, so basically...
I don't care what I have to climb.
Right. So just to clarify what you're signing up for here, Miles, effectively you are in like a hollowed out sort of region underground. There is the hub, there are the spokes. Right now, the connection between the hub where you're at and the spoke where you want to go, the bridge is out. If you wanted to get to that place, you would effectively have to find a place where the rest of the place is built into the wall, and then scale the wall all the way around the circumference to reach the other node. Is that what you are trying to go for?
I'm just gonna go for the quickest way to get there, because there has to be a way to get there.
Okay.
Somehow.
Why don't you do a perception check to see if you can find another way to get there? Let me.
Maybe there's vents or something. I don't know.
If you'd like a story point event or something, feel free to.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, before I even rolled seems like a waste, but
If you would
whatever.
like to just establish it, you can. Or if you would like to roll and then see the result first, you could do that too.
That seems smarter,
All right.
so I'll do that.
Let's do that.
Okay. Okay, perception. Here we go. 1, 2.
All right. So threat. Basically, what I told you, like, there is a way. You just have to scale the outside of a wall over an abyss. You have no idea how deep it is to do so.
So while he's doing that, Talora wants to use her scathing tirade.
Okay, so that's going to generate an automatic double threat on her next roll. Excellent.
Actually, the scathing tirade is I make an average coercion check. For each success, the check generates one enemy within short range suffers 1 strain. But never mind. She's not in short range.
I mean,
because,
you're talking short range. I'm going to say that applies. So yeah, that's set up. Go ahead and roll when you're ready.
Right, coercion.
And Erda, you see Miles sort of looking around for any other way to reach this place, and unfortunately coming up a bit short, kind of like consulting with Vale's maps. And whenever Miles asks a question of Vale, Vale's just like, data corrupted. It's like, great, thanks.
I'd like to make a deception.
Can I use a story point to re-roll that?
That is not how story points work, unfortunately. They can only upgrade rolls before you make them. Sorry. So you try to use your skating tirade against this Turian, and she is no stranger to sort of the art of negotiation persuasion. Does not appear to be giving much ground to you right now. Erda, what will you say you're doing?
I'd like to try and kind of deceive and like make it seem like there's already more information out than there already is, so that the item she has is effectively worthless.
Interesting. In the sense of just like everybody,
the information's already out. Everyone already knows what's on it.
Interesting. That's gonna be a hell of a sell, since it like literally just extracted your thoughts moments ago.
I mean, yes, but does she know that?
Interesting. Okay, that's it. I like the idea of this. Okay, so it's gonna be deception. So it's gonna be against her. Vigilance. So let me just set that up real quick. And vigilance is this. So go ahead and roll when you're ready. And you have 3 story points still left if you'd like to spend them on anything.
I would like to use one of them,
Right,
yes.
You're gonna upgrade that. Go ahead and spend that, and then roll when you're ready. Oh boy! So the success of the triumph and the success of the failures of cancel out, and there's a bunch of threat. So oh boy, that means that she could potentially learn your desire or fear. She's gonna learn what your desire is, Erda. What do you want? What is your desire?
It's funny because it's pretty much the same thing. It's not like obscurity as much, but like also like it kind of is. I don't want to be a nobody.
Yeah.
I want to be somebody.
So yeah, if anything, it's a bit of common ground between you two, but it might also make it a bit easier for both her and you to influence each other in the future as well. Excellent. But you scored a triumph, so that's gonna like bring her strain down by 2, which is enough to sort of win this argument. So if you would like to take the narrative by the reins for a second and explain how exactly that goes about.
Okay, I think I've got it.
Okay.
So upon failing the deception, because I mean, clearly this item is useful, even if all the information on it now is gone. I mean, clearly it can always get more. Erda's gonna switch tactics kind of and be like, all right, but you think for a moment the Shadow Broker is gonna do anything other than what your brother did?
Oh, Erda.
He doesn't even have the bond of blood to fall back on.
Ooh.
Yeah, she definitely like counters with the sort of thought of like, no, I've already proved myself to the Shadow Broker. I'm already well
Everybody proves themselves to the Shadow Broker. The moment they aren't even partly as useful as they were prior, he cuts them loose. That's business.
No. What I've got, nobody else has this. This is beyond anything
Until
he's ever
they
seen.
make another. We figured out how to make Mass Effect relays from this shit. You think for a minute they won't work double time to use this? I mean, hell, it's a cheat sheet on interrogations.
So what do you suggest I do, Erda? Just hand it over to you? Just
No.
give my farewells?
I don't want it. I don't think anyone should have it.
Huh.
But we don't make those choices or get to make them. If anything, you should probably hold on to it. On one condition.
What's that?
Scrub what's currently on it.
I can't do that. Basically,
Don't have access, or because you won't?
when the thing returns to the core that I have, it transcribes everything it learnt on its reconnaissance mission into me. So if I were to scrub this, it would require me to scrub my brain.
That's unfortunate. And I, the player, am horrible and sitting here going, okay, close the lightning rods. Because I'm horrible.
If you'd like
It was
to.
at the same moment,
If
like,
you'd
oh well,
to, yeah.
we can't. Only Talora can.
Correct.
So now I guess Erda's going to try and impress upon Talora without, or if it, yeah, using Omni Tool, I probably can.
Yeah.
Type up some shit that's not going out over the Veil link.
Yeah, you can subtly convey
So,
to Talora. What do you say?
I'm going to try and convince her that our best option is to close that lightning tube, because, I mean...
She's not in it yet.
She was currently climbing through it.
Oh, she is in it already. I thought.
You can tell by kind of like the grunts and the movements of the hologram, even if it's a bit spacey.
So Talora looked over all the research stuff that's here. Is there something that is not as dangerous as, like, viral or whatever? Is there something that we could offer her in exchange that would still make her...
Interesting. Yeah, to review the various projects that were here, there was the Genesys, which was this memory extraction device. There was the mass pulse anchor, which is effectively a thing that shoots into a ship, tries to find its way into the power systems, and just use all that power to increase its mass exponentially until it ruins that ship's day. There was the nano machines that were being worked on as well. That was basically a swarm to deconstruct machinery and organic life alike. And there was effectively a supercomputer virus, like a very intense cyber warfare project that was going on as well. Those are what are listed for you.
All right, so there's nothing that's not completely destructive.
No. I mean,
Is there more?
The computer virus could potentially be something that's more along the lines of just like, you don't really know the details of it beyond like it just breaches, it just uses brute force to breach heavy cybersecurity defenses. So could be less destructive or it could be more destructive depending on how it's used.
Yes. So if we're negotiating her leaving the Project A but taking this computer virus, so that she could actually that might actually be more useful than the infiltration, because you don't actually, especially for a shadow broker, since they're more sneaky. So can I try and negotiate exchanging that?
Absolutely. So you've effectively already convinced this Turian to comply in some manner. So if you would like to effectively say, the way we choose to do this is that she will now take something else we offer her in exchange for that, you can absolutely state that if you would like.
Absolutely, but I'm keeping a copy of the code.
Got it. All right, so you can get Veil to basically transmit all data about the mega computer virus to her, and then ask her to leave the Genesys core behind if you would like.
Yes.
Okay. In that case, you can see that basically Cindrus is it feels a little sort of like conflicted, a little bit sort of fearing betrayal from both you lot and from the Shadow Broker and from everybody in her life. But
I would never,
but you
because I
are
can't get to her.
you are
Because I can't get to her. That's right.
you are offering a tangible thing to exchange. And as soon as like the first bits of data come into her Omni tool, she complies and she drops the core and leaves it sort of in the power node area. And she says to you, "All right, I'm leaving. If you would like to shut down those lightning rods so it's less of a hassle for me, I would appreciate it. You can take your prize and I'll take mine, and we can part ways here."
Right. So the moment she's out of the lightning rods, I'm going to activate them and destroy the thing.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, she has just kind of like left it behind where she was. Yeah, and she begins leaving. And as soon as she does, you see on the little holographic map that she is clear of the Prothean ruin and of the lightning rods themselves. And yeah, do you kind of like pull them back in and attempt to destroy the core?
Yes.
Okay. Vale is immediately sort of like comes up to you and says, "Warning, this following course of action could potentially severely damage the core."
Yes. Let's damage the core.
To confirm, you would like to damage our most prized research project.
Yes. Confirmed.
Hang on. Let's
Alternate
Oh,
solution.
this is fun.
We have a self-destruct sequence if you would like to initialize that if all projects must be destroyed.
No, thank you.
Why are we only destroying the one project?
Because we're
That
still
one's
in
killing
here.
us and the rest is not.
We are still in here. Self-destruct might be blowing this whole thing up. We can still do it later.
Only while we have access to Vale.
Yes,
I'm not saying we blow it all up while we're standing here. I don't misunderstand. Just wait.
Let's take care of the core first and discuss the rest later.
I just want to get eyes on it to see.
Continue, Vale.
Fuck.
Way too dangerous, kid.
Way
Gotta
too
be
dangerous.
Retracting lightning rods. And
Demon computer program isn't. This is fine. And she's stomping off towards the route we came in at,
Got it.
because she's not aware you all found anybody yet.
Nope.
you hear the sounds of very heavy machinery kind of moaning and clanking and groaning as the large lightning rods are attracted back to the sort of subterranean level where you're all at. And you can hear the sound of like humming and a few things like sparking and breaking here and there. The VI comes up to you a couple of times, like saying, "Warning, capacitor problem, warning, blah, blah, blah." It's like, yeah, whatever. Basically, whenever you do anything technological in this place, Vale comes up with a bunch of warnings of, things are very wrong and very broken. But the rods are retracted, and after some time, you no longer hear the sound of the motors withdrawing them once again. And, yeah, there is just silence at that point, and that is where we're going to take a break, everybody. We'll be right back for more Mass Effects, so don't go anywhere. See you very soon. Bye. And we're back, everybody. Welcome back to Mass Effect. Our heroes, the squad, just allowed the Turian to escape via the lightning rod tubes and chose not to fry her alive, but did choose to fry and utterly obliterate the core that is the sort of the cause of all these strange echoes and the terrifying light entity that has been snatching up memories and invading people's minds. As you attract the lightning rods, again, a lot of error messages coming from Vale, the Prothean VI, and as that happens, the rods retract, and it is now mostly completely quiet back in these ruins.
Well, she's on the surface now.
Yeah.
Hope those bugs don't get her.
Well, that would be kind of sad, right?
Yeah.
However, now let's check on the Quarians, and before we leave, we're gonna make sure we torch all of the research in this place, because this is just too dangerous to allow to get out.
Is it? I mean,
Yes. Would you like the nanobots to cause genocide of a whole planet?
I'm saying we should be careful about it, but it's not actively killing us right now, so there's no need to destroy it. It's worth money.
Yeah, and somebody who would buy that would definitely not use that for anything bad, would they?
That's another problem.
Well, let's go check on the Quarians first, and keep an eye out on that cool material that you found. Maybe we can find some more.
What's it look like?
It looks like this. I'll show.
Kind of shows you a cube with a bunch of shiny lights on it as well, sort of shimmering in his hands. Excellent.
Can it continually reshape, or if I turn it into something, it's stuck like that?
It's a sort of one-time use kind of thing.
Okay. Because otherwise I would have turned it into a spork to show off what it could do.
Right.
But that would be a massive waste. So.
That would be very funny. I'm just like, yeah, you can turn anything, turn into a spork, you can turn into, just the one thing, never mind.
Ooh.
Yeah,
A very expensive spork right now.
That'd be worth a lot of money to the right collector. Anyway,
it's basically the perfect tool, a spork.
you begin making your way back to the research node to meet up back with the Quarians. And during that time, Vale, the VI, appears before you once again and says, Administrator.
Yes, Vale.
Quantum shielding is holding up. The Anamnesis core is still fully intact.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Son of a... All right. How do we turn it off?
The VI says to you that the most promising and highest value and rarest technology that we had was granted for use in conjunction with the Anamnesis development. As the core is quantum shielded, the only way for it to be destroyed through means of that lack extreme power and destruction require the uplink to a mass relay.
Okay, so we can only destroy it if it's connected to a mass relay?
That is the only way to bring down its quantum shielding, which I am happy to report seems to hold up to extreme electrical energy, as you just tested.
All right, so we can't turn off the things that are going to kill us. Might as well just get out of here.
Wait. You just said that one. The others might not be shielded.
Right.
But those aren't killing us.
Hold up.
Not a problem.
You said we have a self-destruct for the research. What does that entail?
It involves neutron bombing of the entire research base.
Will that destroy the core?
Unknown.
Let's not take the risk.
Neutron bombs will blast the mining base above us, too.
Indeed.
And
The entire
people-
planet will be obliterated.
There you go.
All projects kept safe, as was the directive.
All right.
So we're not doing that.
Vale, are you able to shut down all the research that is not the core and delete it from all systems?
Can shut down all projects. Are you sure you wish to delete all data?
We already have the data, so yes.
Wait.
Hold. Nope. Not Vale.
Just to clarify, just so you know exactly where you're at right now, you have basically like update reports sent to your Omni tool about the projects here. You do not have like the core foundation of like blueprints and like how it all works and stuff like that. That kind of stuff takes up terabytes that is beyond your sort of local memory storage.
We would need the core for every single individual thing.
Okay, so we do need the computer virus core because we need all of that data to make sure that they can use it as a weapon. But we do not need the nanites or that anchor because that is too dangerous. So, Vale, how do we get the core for the computer virus?
Other projects, only the Anamnesis project contains a quantum shielded core. All other projects are stored locally at this research base. Their data can be erased if required.
All right. Is there a physical way to take the data for the computer virus with us?
It can be stored in in a memory shard to be taken out of this place. Affirmative.
Remind me, were we able to use the memory shards?
Nope. In terms of like
downloading,
you can put data on them, and potentially, if you can find an expert in the field, extract data from them as well. But if you try to just basically touch it and get all the information you need, or try to just rub it on your Omni tool to get what you need, it's going to be a big hurdle, shall we say?
Right. So yeah, we definitely want to download that computer virus into a shard or all the data about it, so we can take it with us and then deal with it later. Because basically that's the same thing we did for the other one, right? I mean, we gave her that, or we didn't give her the research, we just gave her the code, right?
No, other way around. For her, you basically gave her like, this is the computer virus, like safely contained, because that is a project that is much more sort of compact almost, whereas the other ones require hardware things.
Okay, so we gave her the code, but we didn't give her the research.
I mean, there was sort of, yeah, I guess you didn't give her.
Yeah, because the code itself is the end product and it's smaller, right. But all the research is bigger.
Right. Yeah. None of the research, was applied. It was straight up just the.
Okay. So yeah, she definitely wants all the research about that computer virus, so it's easier to counter it on a shard to take it with us. And then she says,
we still need something to bargain with, because everyone outside wants us dead.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's what that computer virus is for.
Right, but she has that. So it's not
they don't
ours
know
to
that.
bargain with.
They don't know that she has it.
She might use it to bargain with on her own. Because I don't think she has a way off this rock either. So
but she does not have the research to counter it. We do. She only has the virus.
Do they need that though?
To counter it? Yes, if you use that, you definitely want to be paranoid enough to be able to protect yourself against it if somebody else has it. It's probably worth more for the people who want to protect against it than for the people who want to use it. But, that is me as Scardy Cat talking, right? There's plenty of me around. Not as many as brave as you.
Yeah, okay.
Vale, please delete nanobot research and anchor research.
Require administrative code word to begin deleting all research.
So it seems like a waste to me.
I never said one. Vale, please set administrative code word for me.
Oh boy, this is basically trying to change the password of the nuclear
Yeah, because
codes.
I
So-
am a new person. I never set mine.
Yes.
So-
All right. So this is basically going to require the mother of all computer roles to succeed at this, which again, it's possible. So I can't wait to see if that works.
So
I am totally using
points.
a story point to make that better. Would anybody like to assist me?
if it's possible, yes, but I don't know how it works in this game because I feel like I've forgotten everything I learned about how to play this game.
Assistance just gives a blue die to Laura.
Okay.
So yeah, you can use your computer expertise to try and help her out for this. I'm going to add the sort of 3 setbacks for the whole sort of technological disparity situation. And you know what? I'm going to spend a story point too. Why the hell not? Let's make this a very big roll on both sides.
Will I get a boost from that amazing knowledge roll I had at the very beginning?
Yes, I did say that for interfacing with technology that will help. So yes, well remembered. Go ahead and spend your story point, and then we can see if you can effectively reset the nuclear codes. All right, roll when you're ready. Oh boy! After all that, it cancels down to a single threat. It basically you hear from Vale just the sort of insistence of, if code is not provided, please immediately abort, otherwise hostile action will be taken.
Sounds like good advice.
Abort.
Abort.
Thank you. All right. Back to plan A. We'll just get the people out of here so they're safe and not dying to that Adam Nessus crap. And then
Right.
we'll...
Vale. Can I manually shut down the memory, whatever that thing's called, that the research is on?
Shutting down all power to all systems. And yeah, you just hear powering down from the last scraps of power running this base.
I did not say
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry. What did you mean?
I was going to ask her if I could how I can manually turn off where or shut down where the research is kept.
Right. Yeah, they explained to you that just basically you would have to go to the servers and the beacons located in each project node and then destroy them yourself.
All right. Absolutely. So we'll have to download the stuff on the shard and then destroy it. And then destroy the other 2 in order or whatever, right? Am I getting this right?
It doesn't matter
because
what order you do it in.
All right, because she wants to download the research for the computer virus on the shard and pocket it, and then destroy the node it was on, where it's kept, and then destroy the other research nodes where it's kept.
Got it. So the only project you having any research data for is for the supercomputer virus.
Yes, so that everything else is not.
All right. To do so, you'll have to kind of like journey between each node. And basically smash these things. So it'll take some time and effort, but you can do so. The question is, Miles and Erda, do you go along with this plan?
Nope.
Okay, excellent.
I'd like to try and find a way across, like, now that we are no longer in direct, like, time crunch,
Sure.
I'd kind of like to find...
We are still in direct time crunch. Those ghosts are still active, and they are still going to kill us if we stay in this base.
What I'm saying is we're not chasing someone who is leaving with the core.
That is true.
So in order to get across this gap, I'd like to find some not mining equipment per se, but kind of, because excavation and traversal equipment for if you accidentally break a hole in the floor and need to then cross it.
Sure. Sounds reasonable. Yeah, go ahead and roll perception to see if you can find anything like that throughout the space.
Alrighty. That's rude.
All right. So that is a failure but advantage. So you don't find anything like that. You kind of like look around in a bunch of places for like any kind of maintenance equipments, like you said, that can have like anti-gravity stuff. You don't find anything like that. You do manage to find what is effectively a series of like what do you even call them? Like sort of power sockets throughout this place that can either for the transferring of data or for power, it's not entirely clear, but there are some sort of machines here that can extend to the different nodes and retract to bring things back to the central hub once again. So if you could extend those, that would give you a way across.
Okay.
I just had an idea. Do we have anything in this base that we could use to contain the cube so that it won't be able to be used? Not shut it down, but like, I don't know if this material, could be like shaped to be like a box that can't be opened so that you cannot actually use the core, but we can take it with us until we can get to a mass relay.
I mean, it's hard to say because you've not actually like interacted with this thing personally yourself. So you're not sure kind of like what happens when people touch or interact with it. You could certainly make a box. Could you make a box that nobody else could open? Probably not.
Well, not without a lot of effort, because you would have to actually break down the material, right?
You could certainly like shape up, a sort of a half safe around it, where it's hard to get into, but it's not, impossible without.
Yeah, and nobody can accidentally interact with it because they can't actually.
All we need is for the ghost to stop appearing. So if putting a box around the thing does that, then we're good.
Yeah.
Would it?
I don't know that it would.
I don't know.
Well, we could try, right?
It's still unclear whether the sort of ghostly entity was tied to, like just its programming or to Syndra's, was she like giving it commands? That is still unclear to you.
All right. So would we be able to send a drone or something to retrieve the core and put it in that, half safe or whatever we want to call it, so that we can at least make sure nobody else touches shit like Kalor?
So
You got a drone I don't know about?
Yeah, there's no functional like complex machinery in this place, but you could, as with the Erdus discoveries, extend one of those sort of like capacitor lines across to get effectively a tight rope to the other side if you wanted to.
All right, so she's going to share her idea with Erda to see, and look, that would give Erda a chance to take a picture of it.
I mean, Erda still wants to go over there and get it. Like,
yeah, just like she was saying, just don't touch it. We don't know if that will spawn more ghosts or echoes. And, she's going to share the rest of the plan so that, if we need it, we can break it open. But, that way we can handle it without setting it off.
right. Yep. Okay. Erda, for out of character, Erda has no intention of putting it in a box yet, because Erda doesn't actually believe that a box will be enough to turn it off.
Well, it's like, it's not going to turn it off. I just don't want anybody touching it by accident. That's the whole point, because I remembered, because I'm thinking that you have to actually touch it to activate it and direct it, like the Tyrion did, so that if we put it in a box, we can always break it open and use it if we need to. But nobody will accidentally put their hand on it and get the...
But what I'm saying is Erda is trying to turn off the current echoes, which are not off yet.
Are they not?
Nope.
They are not. That is the point I've been making this whole time.
I was just double checking if Vale would know if anything turned off now.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Once again, Vale confirms that those things are only tied to the Anamnesis core, and that's the only thing that can alter them or stop them. Yeah. So, did you want to extend the line to the other side?
Yep.
Okay. Who would like to volunteer as tribute to be the first to attempt to cross this extremely... Basically, what extends... It's like a thing from the ceiling that extends out like a long mechanical line that can like unfold a little bit and extend again. It plugs into some kind of socket on the other side. You don't know what it does or what its really its purpose is, but it does give you something to potentially like climb along or like scurry along, but it's a very sort of thin piece of metal.
2-3 nutted?
So I would like to, but I would like to take some precautions first.
Yes,
and if I have to spend a story point to do it, I will.
Tell me your precautions.
rig up a harness and a rope.
You definitely have neither of those things on you, so it will require a story point.
Awesome.
We'll say that there's...
If I have to double back to that locker room where we started,
Oh, sure, yeah.
We should be
I
able to
would.
scavenge some
There's-
wiring from something.
There's a dead miner nearby who has that kind of survey gear that you can appropriate if you would like.
cool. Then I would like to rig my harness to like clip onto however it functions onto the actual line itself. So if I slip, maybe I won't fall.
Yeah, you still have no idea how far down this like area beneath the bridge goes because it's just so dark. So it's a little bit scary. Also, I imagine that as Erda, you kind of like look around for this gear and you find it on a dead miner. There's kind of like one of the ghosty echoes just standing over them, just constantly going, "I'm so disappointed in you, son." Just again and again and again.
That's fucked up.
Oh, that's so mean.
But not your problem. You grab the harness and gear off of this corpse, and you attach it to the little metal line that you've created across. And you know, Krogans aren't light, but hopefully it'll hold out for you. So
I'm light for a Krogan.
very true. So with that in mind, Erda, please make a what's it even called? Coordination check to make your way across this place. Let's see how it
You know,
goes.
I had considered upgrading this, but I didn't.
Okay. So, Miles and Talora, you watch as Erda makes her way across this place. Erda, are you kind of like hooked up like this, so you're sort of swinging along, or are you kind of like attached and like walking across the top?
So, attempting to like kind of monkey bar my way
And
across,
you're attached to it.
but with this extra, attachment in case.
Okay, sounds good. So Miles and Talora, you see Erda kind of like moving along a little bit, and she's doing pretty well, making good progress, until the sort of connection with this thing and its socket breaks. And the entire line she is on goes like this, and Erda, you can like hold on and stay where you are to not fall in, but you know that where you're attached, like if that thing slides off the edge, you're done for. So Miles and Talora, you can see that Erda is kind of like stopped, suspended from this thin metal support.
How far out am
So
I?
Delora's not actually there. She went to start destroying shit, right?
If you would
Did
like
you?
to, yeah, you can say that you're running off doing that. And if Miles is
Yeah,
stopping her,
because you know
then-
they got their shit that they're gonna do, and you know Delora's like, you got this.
Okay, so pause real quick. So if Talora is running off to smash stuff, Miles, were you gonna stick around with Erda and like help her with her things, or are you gonna go
Yes.
with Talora and start? Okay, cool.
I'm gonna be with Erda.
So Talora, you're off smashing things. Excellent. So Miles, you're the
On
only
her own.
Miles, you're the only one who sees the situation with Erda right now, where she is kind of suspended and a bit stuck.
Yeah, so I'll try to help. Let's see, how would I go about doing that?
You could try to, boy, you would need some like strong leverage to like pull this line back up. So maybe like tie a rope and a pulley to something, or like some wiring or something. You could guide her of like where to swing. You could try and like spot a place for her to like leap down and climb up. You could search for some
I'll
kind of
try to
anti-gravity
just
thing.
stabilize the pole that it
Got it.
can't slide any further by,
Like,
swinging a rope under it and
love it.
just
Sounds good.
keeping it pulled. So
In that sense, then Erda, like it is not too broken from its socket for you to like reach up and grab it. It's just the case of fearing to slip. So Miles, you're helping. So we're gonna give a blue die to Erda. Erda, make either athletics or coordination your choice to make it to the other side in one piece.
So, quick question.
Yes.
About how far out across this thing am I?
I think you got very close to the end, and that's why it buckled so
Okay.
much. So you're a few meters away from reaching the other side.
Okay. Then May I spend a story point, guys?
of course.
Okay. Gonna try and upgrade that.
Applying the upgrade, go ahead and roll.
And it's time for some more attempts at coordination.
Oh,
Fuck.
no. That is both failure and threat. So Miles, you watch in
Wait.
horror.
Wasn't I supposed to get a blue dice? Oh, that canceled out something
No,
else.
no, you're right. You absolutely were meant to get one. I apologize profusely. This could change everything. It could change nothing. It could not make things worse.
Make this so much worse.
Oh. Well, unfortunately, the blue die had no effect. So Miles, you watch in horror as Erda basically tries to swing herself to just like go between the gaps. Doesn't manage to make it and starts scrambling down the other side and falls into darkness out of view.
Ah, crap.
And Erda, please roll a critical injury.
Exciting. Good thing I'm a Krogan.
Yeah.
Pancaked. That's the critical injury.
Oh no. You like Krogan pancakes? Oh boy. Alright, so this is going to add a new critical wound to you, and you're knocked prone and you suffer 1 strain, which makes a lot of sense for falling a long distance. Erda, you fall into darkness. There's an unfortunate amount of seconds, Miles, before you actually hear any kind of impact or anything.
Wait,
Oh. Yes?
why do I have 2 of these?
Why do you have 2 of these? Let's double check your sheet. Because I know you got a critical injury earlier. And
Okay. When did I get bowled over before?
Good question.
Caused that.
I don't remember. Let's trust in the sheet for now.
Yep.
And I'll return to I'll double check if that's actually true or not. Because I remember you got a critical injury, but that was like your arm getting hurt and that got fixed. I don't remember the bowled over. But that's okay.
I'm sure it happened. I just don't remember
Yeah, I
when.
don't remember
And I'm
either.
like,
But either way, Erda, you fall a long way and then you bam slam into something. You're gonna take 30 points of damage. When you kind of like impact into this thing after a long distance, you sort of feel yourself on this like metallic platform that sort of like creaks and buckles beneath you, and seems to be some kind of like heavy machinery. And Miles,
That's
you
a
just
lot
hear
of damage.
slam.
Yeah, I'm assuming she's dead. So, like 2 seconds after the impact, I'll be just like, well, I might as well check. And be like, kid,
fuck.
holy crap, you survived.
Ah. Yeah, I think.
Can you get out of there? 'Cause I don't think I'm making it over there.
When you shine your Omni Tool light around Erda, kind of bowled over on your back, you can see that you are on some sort of like heavy industrial machine of some kind, and it is sort of halfway plugged into the wall, and you notice that it has sort of tools on it as well, like these big industrial tools. It is some kind of mineral extraction device. Looks like this is what this base used to get their own resources and their own sort of needs that they needed for their projects here. And it's just kind of like sitting here dormant, long since corroded and destroyed. You can see that there's basically a depositing or charging station of some kind that it is attached to, and from it there are many, many cables kind of going all over the place. You could potentially try and climb up those cables to reach where you're going for. They don't really go to any other place apart from the place directly above you.
I'm gonna try and take a breather real quick and then make an attempt to climb.
Okay. Just do an athletics roll to climb back up. And let's pray for Erda, everybody.
Can I recover my shields with that
Yeah,
short breather?
you can take a second to get them back so you don't immediately perish from a small fall.
Okay, athletics take 2.
I will say before you roll this, I think you get bonuses to your brawn stuff if you're raging. So if you would like to rage climb, that is also an option.
I think that's probably very likely considering I just nearly died. And I feel like that's one of those instances of body kicked in,
Yeah.
adrenal glands active.
Definitely. Absolutely. Yeah, so if you'd like to enter a Krogan rage, you can absolutely do that. And that has the result of... let me just double check.
All right, I make a simple coercion check.
And don't bother with that because it won't last long enough to matter. Let's just say we're going to upgrade whatever you do here. So just roll athletics.
Okay.
As Miles, you just hear, ah! echoing throughout this place.
Yeah. I'm assuming she's climbing with a broken leg or something.
Alrighty. Here we go. Yes!
Hey, good work, Oda.
So much threat, though.
You manage to pull yourself up, and as you do so, like, you're just, like, pulling these cables out here and there. They're just, like, flying off, and you're getting less and less and less of them the further up you go, until there's basically one left, and that's where you land a big, meaty hand back down the other side. But you finally make it, and, I'm gonna make the threat less of a threat and more of just a bitter irony, where you see on this side, there is some kind of, mechanical, like, anti-lift vehicle of some kind, like a very small cargo thing that could easily ferry people back and forth.
Picks up the device with a remainder of my Krogan rage. Does not
And
eat it into
throws
the
it in the hole.
Does not. But if we can stabilize it across that oh no, that fell. Never mind. So yeah, I'm gonna try and turn that on and send it over, I guess.
Yeah, sure. It looks like it was plugged into some kind of charging station, or maybe it was getting wireless power. It's not entirely clear. But there is some juice in this thing, and it kind of like floats a bit awkwardly and a bit shakily, but it clearly has some kind of Mass Effect field within it that's keeping it like suspended off the ground.
Well, that does not look safe. You got any Medigel on you? You
No.
look a little rough. And by a little, I mean a lot.
I will say, actually,
So
while in a rage,
mechanically, how long did it last? Because I do regenerate.
we'll be generous and say 5 turns, so you can get 5 wounds back, Erda, as your rage healed you up.
Alrighty.
So, Erda's on the other side. Miles, you can see her across the way, and Talora's off smashing things. So, Erda, now that you've reached your destination, what's the plan?
Go in, find where that thing was, and touch it.
All right, Erda goes off.
I will use the thing to get across to help out.
Okay, so
Good.
Erda, do you want to send the hover
Yeah,
dolly over?
it definitely sent it back.
You kind of like both watch as it like goes across. It's like, is this thing gonna fall into the abyss? And like it goes, it like shakes a little bit and moves from side to side. And it's like, oh god, this technology is 50,000 years old. This is a terrible idea. But it very slowly makes it to the other side with where you are, Miles.
All right, I hop in. Be like, this better not kill me.
And yeah, you set off sort of ferrying yourself to the other side. For good measure, you like float just above the small beam as though that would help in any kind of way. And yeah, you make it to the other side.
I'll inspect the thing while I'm at
Absolutely. Go ahead and make a mechanics check.
Maybe there's just like a piece of rock jammed in there or something.
Yeah. Let's see. You don't necessarily find what the problem is for this thing. But you do think you can like sort of reconfigure it a little bit to get to basically make it go through as much power as possible quickly if you wanted to ever make it move faster or like ascend or descend safely.
I'll figure out how it works. That's the thing. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, that's fine. I don't want to push too many buttons. Who knows what it's gonna explode.
Yep. All right, and so Miles and Erda, you are now back on this side. Erda, I know what your plans are. Miles, as Erda goes towards the sort of lightning rod tubes to start making her way up there to find the core, what are you doing?
Careful. There's still a lot of lightning in that thing.
I feel like Erda like processes that already in the tube, and it's just like.
That's what the stinging sensation is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if there's no further changes there, then Erda, you climb up the tube takes a little while. This space is compact.
Isn't the thing still distended, which
Yes.
we hoped would destroy the core,
Yeah,
but didn't?
The idea of the like retracting the lightning rods was that all sort of residual static energy that was there would be pulled into this place and have nowhere really to go. So it would have had like a short-term burst of that stuff before it was sort of dissipated throughout the system. But now that it has been fully retracted, there's no risk of that happening unless somebody extends it again.
So,
Okay, I'm gonna see if
so what I'm
I
tracking
can
is
see the
there's tube,
device.
and then there's freaking lightning rod somewhere else.
Basically, just imagine it as like a massive, not massive, but like a missile solo, basically like a sort of a diagonal angle. And there are these big lightning rods that have now sort of telescoped back in to these sort of massive junctions around you. And you're able to sort of squeeze your way up this big tube. Sorry,
Okay.
Miles, what was your question?
I want to figure out how I can get them extended again from here.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, you can look around and see if there's any stuff to interface with. Yeah.
There should be one, right? This is the device. There should be a manual override somewhere.
Yeah, fortunately here, like, you don't see, like, there's consoles that are dead nearby that you can't use, but you can see a lot of manual hardware that you could potentially pull on and experiment with if you would like to get those rods extended again.
I'm just gonna try and figure it out, like what I would have to do to get it to do that. I'm not gonna actually try to make it do the thing.
Sounds good. All right, go ahead and roll a mechanics. Let's see how you do there. And while you're doing that, Oda, you are going up in the tube. Oh goodness, so much success, so much threat. What does it mean?
I know exactly how to do it, but if I did, it would be really, really bad.
Yeah, it seems like it. There's some sort of nuclear radiation.
Oh no,
leak
I succeeded!
risk or something. Wonderful. Yeah, Oda, doesn't take you too long. This thing is a massive glowing shiny orb, so it doesn't take you any time at all to find it. It's kind of just like been placed in a little nook. As the Turian was to her word, and you were able to reach out and take it if you want.
I'm gonna try and brace myself in this tube against like the rod behind me and the wall of the tube, if that's how this is working.
Sure, yeah. Well, yes, that's fine.
Okay, and then I'm going to grab it.
The idea of the Krogan in that like chimney position, just like being really compact with their massive hump, is really funny to me. All right, yeah, you reach out and you grab the orb, Oda, and a lot of weird stuff suddenly happens in your brain.
Yeah.
As you are bombarded with information very similar to Kalor interacting with the memory shards from the previous episode of the sort of highlights of memories being available to you. However, unlike with Kalor, this all is from creatures that aren't completely incompatible with you. It's not from Protheans. It is from, fellow Milky Way humanoids of the modern times who don't have the strange sort of psychometry that the Protheans do. And as such, you have far more control over what you choose to see. All you know is that you just got a lot of information about some of the miners here, about the Corian you're looking for, about Miles, about every single entity that this thing has touched recently. And when that happens, the sort of spectral, yellowish light hologram appearance of this thing appears before you, and it says, "New link established." And it just floats there. And you suddenly feel a sort of instinctual control over this thing.
All right. Deactivate scanning algorithm protocol. Whatever.
You say a bunch of words. What is the intention behind what you want to happen? Do you want it to just like disappear?
I want it to turn off its other
Echoes.
Echoes. Yep.
Sounds good. Immediately, it complies, and you feel the instinctual revelation in your mind of, oh yes, that worked perfectly. And it sort of just like nods its head at you, and then you see no change, but you assume it worked. And Talora, meanwhile, wherever you were, whatever you were trying to smash the various devices, you were very quickly sort of inundated by various hostile echoes that kind of like started to swarm you and started to sort of pin you down a little bit, and then they disappear.
That's not good.
And Erda,
That is good.
and Erda, you have full control of the entity.
I'm gonna see if I can't wedge myself where the orb. No, the orb was in a spot way too small for me. I'm just gonna hang out there and kind of.
Wait, sorry, the orb, the core thing?
Yeah.
You have it. Like, it was just put on a nook. It wasn't.
No. What I'm saying is I cannot fit my body into the space it was previously occupying.
I see.
Because I was gonna try and sit down
I
in
see.
there and like
Got it.
not take a nap, but kind of take a nap.
I mean, you could just happy fun slide out of this tube if you want to, and just rejoin Miles and rest up.
What I wanted to do was kind of take a look, see at what I had gotten.
Oh, interesting.
As far as like Syndrus, and more specifically, if anyone knew what happened as far as sending out that, like how did that information get sent about the migrant fleet?
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. When you kind of like disseminate through the information that of the memories that would just apply to you, you don't get any revelations in that sense.
Okay.
You definitely get the migrant fleet plans and the Quarian's memories, particularly the time when he was like chewed out for messing up on something very mechanically important, the time where his sister got in trouble and he came to help her, the sort of the moment of pride when he came back from his pilgrimage, all this kind of stuff, the more you sort of open up your mind to it. But the most you really get from his memories at that point is the basically final and almost most traumatic moments as well, where he feels them being sucked out by this entity, by the anamnesis, and that's kind of where it stops. There's no more information beyond that.
So no way to determine whether this information was sent at some point
Right.
from this device.
Yeah, nothing in the
Okay.
memories you just received seems to have anything that indicates what happened there.
Cool.
But
All right.
at the very least, you know, it's confirmation that this Quarian did not do it, because he would definitely have some kind of memory of sending that information out. It was simply plucked from his brain.
Okay. Well, that makes this even more complicated and spooky, and Erda doesn't like that answer, so she's gonna slide down and
Should you be touching that thing?
I mean, where else am I gonna put it?
And you see the entity follows her like a specter, just looming behind Erda.
Is that thing still on?
I'll shoot
Damn.
it. I don't know.
Miles, you shoot at it, and it doesn't like try to, you know, avoid the damage at first, so it just like gets shot a bunch and like blinks away. And suddenly, Erda, you feel in your mind this great sense of need for self-preservation, and effectively a confirmation of, can I obliterate the threat, or what is your order effectively?
The order presently is stand down, hang back, out of sight.
With that, it effectively blinks and disappears back into the core.
That was a close one. That golden thing was on your 6. You want to
I
try the
think
box?
the rest of them are off.
Okay. You want to try the box?
Sure.
All right.
I now want to see if that changes this connection I presently have.
Sure.
We will attempt to make a box
Okay.
to put that orb in.
You pull out the material. I'm not sure how this functions in a sci-fi sense. Probably there's some degree of like haptic combination with like a mind link of some kind, where it sort of shapes into something you trying to think of as you are sort of bending it with your physical touch as well. You make a sort of a fairly crude box, but it kind of like quickly sort of snaps into a nicer shape the more and more it understands what you were trying to create. Kind of spooky a little bit, but yeah, you create a little box out of this material you found.
There we go. All right, that should keep you safe. Well, here we go. We got 5 million credits in this box.
Yeah.
Now what? You want to get
Now
back?
we leave.
Yeah, all right. Let's go get the Quarians.
Okay.
Do we find... I don't think we do, but do we find any more of that weird material in this space as we're
You
leaving?
can spend some time to look around a little bit more, just to have a thorough search if you both like.
Yeah, I think...
I'll let
Erda at least.
Erda look. I'm gonna spend a little more time trying to figure out if I can't do anything to stabilize the goey acrossy the thing.
Got it.
Because that's way too scary.
Love it. Yeah, sounds good. So Erda, go ahead and roll perception to see if you find anything else, and then once you do that,
Nope.
Nope. You don't find anything, but you do find salvage worth 100 credits, we'll say. So not much, but something shiny. Someone's going to pay you for this. Let's see.
Can it be turned into Omnigel?
Anything can be turned into Omnigel, I think.
Then I'm gonna just hold on to that for now, and that's great.
Sounds good.
I'm just looking.
Yes.
I'm not actively trying.
yeah.
I'm just I can't figure shit out. Okay.
Yeah, it's just too complex technology. Too old as well for you, Miles. If you'd both like to recover strain as well, this is a nice moment for you to kind of like take a breather. So if you'd both like to roll discipline or cool, you can recover that much strain as well. Meanwhile, Talora, you've been going around extracting the data you wanted from the virus, all the research data about it. When you made it kind of like to the virus node, it was the sort of southmost area where there's a massive borehole. Where you entered in, that was where the virus is being held. You worry if between the ghostly Geth attacking and the rest of you doing stuff, like some things might have got shut up, might have corrupted some data here and there, but you're gonna take whatever you can get. Once you fully kind of extract that to one of the nearby memory shards, you very carefully pick that up so that you don't have your mind scrambled by the incompatible physiology problem. And then you go around to the other nodes and proceed to just smash every sort of server, every sort of data cluster that has anything on these research projects. And you can never be 100% certain if you've succeeded, because there's no real good idea if, you know, there's still like effectively, you know, some goo sticking to the edge of the jar. But you did, you know, a thorough job as you could, smashing every beacon containing this data, and you are fairly confident that you've gotten rid of everything to the best of your abilities. With that in mind, where do you go next, Talora?
I'm gonna ask Vale if Vale has in what core she is kept.
Vale clarifies again and says, like, the only thing with a core in this place is the Anamnesis project, because that was basically the best technology they had, and they put it all in for that particular project. The VI itself is just located within the computers located at like the administration area of the space, which is to say the central hub of the research base.
Okay, so would it give me any advantage if I plug into that thing to try and transfer Vale to me?
It would give you less disadvantage, shall I say? It'll give you fewer setback dice.
Okay.
All right.
And where is it?
It's in the central area, so you just kind of backtrack to where you were before. It shouldn't take too long.
Okay.
And Vale is able to easily kind of point out to you the relevant data clusters as well.
Okay.
Your goal
and
here...
she's just gonna tap it up and say, "This is where I'm heading," and, you know, sends it to her companions so they know where she is.
Okay. What is your goal with access to this VI's data? What would you like to do?
I want to take her with me.
All right. Love it. So, we're going to say this is going to be difficulty 3 computers of just basically copying a VI program. Isn't too difficult. 3 setback dice because of ancient incompatible technology, -1 because you're at the exact place you need to be for it, and then plus a blue because you already established a bit of a bonus understanding from the start. So with that, go ahead and roll computers when you're ready.
Okay, I want to spend our last story point to make that easier.
Very well. I'll upgrade that. Go ahead and spend it. And let's see what you get.
Oh, good vibes.
Good vibes, good vibes.
Please, please, please.
Get us a Prothean VI. Okay. So the sort of copying begins. The entire sort of personality imprint of this Prothean AI is uploaded as best it can manage to your Omni tool. During the process, the threat, I'll say that there is a lot of data corruption, specifically about this place as well, and about Prothean history, unfortunately. So you lose a lot of its information banks. However, the personality itself, and a lot of its sort of like more present information is still available for you. And you believe that you have successfully transferred this thing onto your Omni tool, and you can potentially tinker with it a little bit later on down the line to sort of like make it not just a blurry mess of pixels, and to actually like give it an avatar and let it sort of know your quirks and habits and everything. But yeah, you've successfully transferred parts of a Prothean VI to your Omni tool. Congratulations.
Yay! And once she's done with that, she's probably going to try and find her companions.
Yeah, at this point, it takes a while to kind of do that transfer. So at this point, Oda and Miles, you both are going across on the little hover platform that you found, return back to the main area.
Why did we do this together? We should have gone one at a time.
If we went and waited, then it would have gotten stuck or fallen again. And you being the lighter would have gone first, and I being the heavier would have been stuck.
And so, Laura, that's the conversation you overhear as they return to sort of the central hub where you are also located, and the three of you reunite. You see that they have a box on them.
Well, we got the box. You done vandalizing priceless ancient ruins?
Oh, you're muted.
You are muted.
Okay, she's like, yes, absolutely. Vandalized what was needed to be vandalized, and also got like a kind of a copy of Veil.
Great. Well, that's probably worth a lot.
Well, we're not selling it; it's mine.
We still need a lot of leverage to get off here.
Well, she pulls out the shard.
Might need more. You never know.
You got the box. Just shh.
We did get the box. Looks to be working too. You see any ghosts while you were out there?
Well, I did see the ghost who just bothered me and then suddenly left, and I had a feeling that was you guys.
That's probably when we put the box around it.
Yes. All right, are we ready to head back to the Quarians and check on them?
Yeah, let's find everyone who's still alive and get them out of here.
And see how Kalora's doing.
Did you end the lockdown yet?
Nope. I did not want the Quarians to leave without us, especially since he's the one who sent stuff to the flotilla about the flotilla away, and we don't know who is pulling his strings.
The boy can make up his own mind. He probably did that on his own.
Yeah, I did not want him leaving and causing further trouble until we can determine what's to be done. That is kind of up to Kalor.
Is it? Is he the Quarian in charge?
Is there any other Quarians in our group?
There's a sister.
Like, you think the sister is going to make an objective choice about her brother?
She's the only one that gives a shit about him.
Well, we're going to listen. You know I got a soft heart, but yeah, Kalor has the most influence on this. This is about his home and his people.
Yeah, but so it's also about her home and his home.
Yes, it is, but it has nothing to do with us. I don't think you quite... She's like, never mind, let's just go check on them.
I just don't want Kalor to kill the kid for, making a mistake.
We're not going to kill anybody without all of us agreeing.
I mean, that seems a bit extreme.
In this case, shh.
There's this one Krogan
Oh, shush us.
I have to deal with. Yeah, okay.
The Krogan in the back is like, Mommy and Daddy are fighting. Shut up.
Yeah, Oda, are you saying anything during this exchange, or are you just listening or not listening?
I want a juice box.
I will turn this Prothean road around.
No juice box comment, sadly. But
can I beat somebody up now? Are you guys done?
No, she's actually been she's been very quiet because she's kind of trying to probe the, what she has access to, if she still has access to this thing.
Yes. All the memories
Okay.
of all those people are yours to peruse at your will.
And eventually she's going to pipe up and be like, I don't know. We found a box that steals memories. How do we know he's the one that sent it along?
Oh, yeah. Could have been the Turian. But why would she? Just for the money? It
Well,
seems weird.
I mean, it's why we're here, isn't it?
Well, I did overhear him saying that it wasn't his idea. That he disappointed his sister and that it was not his idea because she asked him about it the moment he wake up. So let's see, what happened and what the reasoning was. Let's go find out.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you're chatting, making your way towards the research hub again, as you kind of like making your way across the bridge, this one mercifully intact compared to the last one you had to deal with. As you're moving along, you all hear little beeps coming from each of your Omni tools, and you quickly look at them and see that long-range communication has been reestablished. And shortly after that, each one of you gets a distinct, separate sort of communication buzz on your Omni tools. Somebody is trying to call all of you.
Is it the pizza?
Watch it be that
I'm
damn
outside, but
Solarian.
I don't know, like, was it the other street? Is it the cul-de-sac?
I love getting that call.
Yeah.
I had to wave out of my window because I live on the 4th story, and he was just like, "Where is it? It's up here, dumbass."
Yeah.
Sorry,
Talora is not
I was mistaken. You
answering
actually
that.
get Talora, you get a call. You recognize it from being from Dr. Lewis.
Ooh.
Miles, you see there is a call coming in from I've forgotten his name. Arcus, your Turian friend. Very dubious relationship there. And Erda, you're getting a call from Cassis.
Oh,
Where's
Okay.
their friends?
And that is where
Ooh.
we'll end today's session, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us for yet another episode of Mass Effect. Our heroes have acquired something of tremendous power and value. Let's see what they do.
Friendship!
With it. Yes, it was friendship
Yeah!
all along. If you crack open the core, it was love and friendship the entire time. Wonderful.
It's a Care Bear and a
war
cute.
crimes.
It's more crimes and friendship. Amazing. Thanks to my amazing players as always for their incredible work for this show. Thank you all for watching. Let's go around. If you have anything to plug, anything to say, please feel free to do so. Let's start with you, Forta.
Ooh. Let's see. Not this Saturday evening, but next Saturday evening, more Blades in the Dark on Polished Cryptid's channel. On Tuesday, Wandering Menagerie, also on Polished Cryptid's channel. And tomorrow evening, over on Open for Adventure, where we are going into the Shadowfell.
Very exciting. And Paladin.
Hi everybody, I'm Paladin Hulk, Twitch moderator for Random Tuesday and Little Red Dot. The next time you can find me is, Tuesday on Polished Tripstick's channel for the Wandering Menagerie, where I play Dom Rain, the Githzerai noble fighter. We have been exploring a dungeon where I got to ride a merry-go-round, which was extremely fun. We also fought some lifelike wax statues that I decapitated, which was enjoyable. And we solved a mirror puzzle, which is a classic of the genre. Then Friday, I don't have anything on Raven's channel because it's in between the seasons. Last Friday, we had the season finale of Beyond the Wall. Tom Fan, your friendly ghost, had a happy ending where I got a recording contract in the ruins of civilization. So there's only one recording artist, and it's me. Yeah! 100%. Everybody listens to my music or nothing. So that's good. I also possessed the bad guy who is like the angel of despair, and I used his powers of depression and to target himself, and I just killed his mind from the inside out,
Damn.
which was super awesome. Oh god! And then not this Sunday, but the Sunday afterwards, we're back on Uncanny Adventures, where I'll play Holt, the pirate paladin, and tries to make friends with all the evil pirates. had a lot of more friends, delivered some chainmail people, promoted someone to climb the rigging because she didn't want to, and I figured that was a better place for her because she kept hurting her hands. Moron. And we're fitting some armor for one of the people we don't like because she earned it. But my party members think that it's a better idea if we don't give her the armor, so we're giving it to the stupid barbarian instead. Yeah. And I have no idea because my character's an idiot.
Awesome.
RPGs are fun, everyone.
Oh, yeah. And last but certainly not least, Vivi.
Hi, I'm Vivi Vivacia. You can find me on Twitter as Miss Vivacia. I just hit 500 followers. I have no clue how I did that. That is like a little crazy that, actually somebody pays attention. Whatever. On Mondays, Wily Hobbit, we're still on the Grendel route. We're finally meeting the dude that we came to see. So Monday, 7:30, Wily Hobbit. On Wednesday, I'm starting a new stream game on Mr. Hooper's channel, and the double O's and Mr. Hooper are actually zeros, which is a 5e game of ultra modern, where we kind of like marshals. And I'm playing Lily, and Lily is actually from a different version of our planet. So that's going to be interesting. So that's on Mr. Hooper's channel on Wednesday, and then on Thursday on the 29th, I'm in a one shot on Stella Luna's channel, which is really cool because we're playing a Final Fantasy RPG that Emma Penada put together. Where I'm going to be a Lalafell archer, ranger, beastmaster kind of person. And if you don't know, the Lalafells are the tiny people, the tiny round little potatoes, which used to be the Tarutarus in Final Fantasy XI.
Wait, aren't those Moogles?
So-
What's a Moogle?
The
those
Moogle
are
is
the
the
cute little cat people
It-
with
the
a weird
Moogle-
pom
also
pom.
just
Moogle is the
short
pom pom. The Lalafells are the short people that kind of walk like.
Got it.
So, and it's called The Antidote. So that's going to be interesting. Thursday, 29th, Stella Luna's channel, 8 p.m. EST. And then Saturday morning, I'm going to be back with these beautiful people because right now we set up so many ethical dilemmas and underlaying things of, we're still friends, but we're kind of doing all our own things. So it's going to be amazing. I cannot wait for Kalor to get with the Quarians and dig into that.
Hell yeah. Awesome. And I'm Thomas. You can catch Mass Effect here, same time next week to see where this goes. Very excited to see where it goes. And then next Sunday, not tomorrow, we have another episode of Is This an Education? Our City of Mist game, where the last time brave and wonderful college students went to the sort of slightly shadier side of town, made some friends, but also did not necessarily succeed in their investigations, and now there's a giant cockroach problem. It happens in magical worlds. So check that out. It's a really fun show. Also check out anything like on Granta Chimera's YouTube channel as well. They have all their streams and games all up there, archived, ready for your viewing pleasure. If you'd like to see some of my games, there's Tales from Memory Village, our Blue Rose adventure, and Awakened Pixels, our Fate Accelerated adventure. I'm both proud of both of them, so if you like them at all, go and check them out. And that's about it. Thanks again, everybody, for checking us out. We'll be back here same time next week for more Mass Effect to see where this all goes. So until then, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.